How's it going, guys? So this morning I was watching a few clips of this debate of Anna Kasparian of the Young Turks versus Pearl Davis of the right-wing male griftosphere. Now, you may have inferred that I have negative feelings towards Pearl Davis, and that's true. I do. I am quite, but I'm not. I wouldn't say that I'm biased because don't really have any feelings of joy or happiness towards Anna Kasparian, although she is a potentially criminal enjoyer, so I can respect that. I can respect that. My problem with Pearl is that all of these people that try and what's the word? What's the way to phrase this? There's a group of people on the internet, basically the like Andrew Tate people, the Pearl Davis, the whatever podcast. While they are very entertaining, I won't say they're not, and I've had a pretty good giggle of these people from the time to time. They sell a lifestyle that they don't believe in and they don't actually do with their own lives. Pearl is a great example of this. She like tries to talk about how, you got to get married or you got to have like a happy family. You got to have your trad life, but then she's not married. She's just getting as much money as possible from these men and not really living for what she believes in or what she states that she believes in. Now, while it's true that a coke addict could give you advice of not doing coke, and it could still be true advice, I just find her very much phony and a fraud. Now, this debate is so funny because, like I said, I saw some clips that Pearl was trying to farm, and they try and make it look like she did better in this. She got absolutely bodied in this debate. It is a disaster. So we're going to have to take a look at this. We might go through the whole thing, but first, before we get into that, there is some sad news for some people, I suppose, and that is that Dilbert creator Scott Adams has passed away at the age of 68. You can put F in the chat for Scott. What's really sad about this is that people just can't even leave him alone, even in death. Because every article that I've seen about this is like, right-wing, polarizing figure Scott Adams dead. It's like, yeah, he had a few spicy opinions, but this man brought a lot of joy to so many people through his Dilbert cartoons, even if you might think they're very basic, like Office Space sort of style of things. I'm not like a huge Scott Adams fan or anything, but yeah, I like the Dilbert comic strips. I read his book, which is quite interesting. I think it's called like How to Fail at Everything and Still Succeed or something, basically the story of my life. It's pretty entertaining yarn, and he talks a lot about his struggles with his health. At one point, when he was doing like public speaking and stuff, he had to actually get surgery, which could have made him completely mute, but he risked it, and he went through all this stuff, and he's finally, I think he died of prostate cancer. So he has a final message, but it is very sad that even in death that people are still trying to character assassinate him and destroy his now like unlife or whatever. But there was a message from Scott Adams. We'll read this through, then we'll get into the debate with Pearl Davis. So it says, a final message from Scott. If you're reading this, things did not go well for me. I have a few things to say. My body failed before my brain. I am of sound mind as I write this, January 1st, 2026. If you wonder about any of my choices for my estate or anything else, please know I am free of any coercion or inappropriate influence of any sort, I promise. Next, many of my Christian friends have asked me to find Jesus before I go. I am not a believer, but I have to admit that the risk-reward calculation of doing so looks attractive, so here I go. I accept Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior, and I look forward to spending an eternity with him. The part about me not being a believer should be quickly resolved if I wake up in heaven. I won't need any more convincing than that, and I hope that I'm still qualified to enter. So a little bit of a Pascal's wager going on here, but he's just trying to put some humor into like a very morbid situation. I think that's like maybe what we should remember from Scott Adams the most is that he was an entertainer through and through. With your permission, I would like to explain some things about my life. For the first part of my life, I was focused on making myself a worthy husband and parent, as a way to find meaning. That worked, but marriages don't always last forever, and mine eventually ended in a highly amicable way. I am grateful for those years and the people that came to call my family. Once the marriage unwound, I needed a new focus, a new meaning, and so I donated myself to the world. I literally speaking the words out loud in my otherwise silent home. From that point on, I looked for ways I could add the most to people's lives, one way or another. That marked the start of my evolution from Dilbert cartoonist and author of what I hoped would be useful books. By then, I believed I had amassed enough life lessons that I could start passing them on, and continued making Dilbert comics, of course. And now, he did get cancelled for this. I think he came out pretty hard during the Trump elections, and basically lost almost all of his income from these sort of things. And while people might have say oh, it's the Dilbert comics not very good or anything, it was, I think, one of the most widely spread comics ever. It was up there with Garfield and The Far Side. So it was very influential, even if it was just talking about like little, amusing observations from the workplace. But it brought a lot of people joy, and that's what's important. As luck would have it, I'm a good writer. My first book in the useful genre was How to Fail at Almost Everything and Still Win Big. Yeah, that's the one that I read, and I think that's a really good book. It's really entertaining. It talks about a lot of little silly details in his life, but I think it has a good message overall, and it's very positive. That book turned out to be a huge success, often imitated and influencing a wide variety of people. I guess even myself included. I still hear every day how much that book changed lives. My plan to be useful was working. I followed up my book with Win Bigly, and I believe this was after the Trump election, because obviously bigly was a word that was popularized by Trump, that trained an army of citizens how to be more persuasive. I haven't read this one, though, actually. Maybe I should read it. Which they correctly saw as a minor superpower. I know that book changed lives because I hear it often. You'll probably never know the impact the book had on the world, but I know, and it pleases me, while giving me a sense of meaning that is impossible to describe. My next book, Loser Think, I haven't read that. I've only read the first one that he mentioned. Tried to teach people how to think better, especially if they were displaying their thinking on social media. That one didn't put as much of a dent in the universe, but I tried. Finally, my book, Your Brain, taught readers how to program their own thoughts to make their personal and professional lives better. I was surprised and delighted at how much positive impact of that book is having. Now, I think this actually brings me up one of the things that I believe was either in the book that Scott Adams wrote, or if I saw him on an interview. Because I used to watch a lot of like free domain radio, like Stefan Molyneux, before he was like banned from the internet. I'm actually not sure what he's doing these days, but he's completely been removed from most of the like clear net, essentially. Maybe he's back on, maybe he got unbanned in that big unwave. But Scott Adams talked about the idea of having systems instead of goals. And this is an idea that I really resonate with, and I really think is quite positive and very useful for people. And that is like let's say your goal is, I'm going to lose 10 kilos. Well, that can be achieved in multiple varieties of ways. And like once you get it, you kind of stop. You've achieved your goal already, so why keep going? Whether having a system is like, I'm going to go to the gym every day, you're going to get a benefit from that no matter what. And while you might like slack off going to the gym because you can just stop eating as much or something, that's not really going to improve your health as much. So having just systems, it's almost like the same vein as like shoot for the moon. And even if you miss, you'll land amongst the stars. But I really do think that just having a system, a routine that you do every day that works towards your goals, it doesn't mean you don't have goals in your life, but it's just like the focus is the system and not the goal, is really a very good idea. And again, it's kind of like that thing, like it's good to have a end to a journey, but in the end, it's the journey that matters. And this is one of the really positive ideas that I think Scott Adams put into the world. Although maybe it was like kind of an old idea repackaged, who knows. I also started podcasting a live show called Copium with Scott Adams, dedicated to helping people think about the world and their lives in a more productive way. I didn't plan it this way, but I ended up here helping a lot of people, lonely people, find a community that made them feel less lonely. Again, that had great meaning for me. I had an amazing life. I gave it everything I had. If you have any benefits from my work, I'm asking you to pay it forward the best you can. That is the legacy I want. Be useful. And please know I loved you all into the end. Scott Adams. That's very sweet. That's like almost brings a tear to my eye. Although we're going to be mostly laughing at feminists today. And Pearl Davis. But yeah, I think that's a good message. And I hope that people remember Scott Adams for that. Rather than, oh, he was divisive, far-right. No, he wasn't. He was just a regular guy. There was like, he had some very funny things he would say, like he said he was voting for Hillary Clinton because he was fearing for his life because he lived in California. Things like that. Like it was an entertaining little lad. All right. We got Trucker Rob says, well, howdy meme with a $10 dues towards the alimony goal. Thank you. There's going to be mention of alimony in this debate. So I have the Brendan Fraser, the money poster already brought up. And Trent with a $2 says, she's blacked. She's got cooked by Anna Kasparian, in reference to Pearl. And this is very true. Pearl has like a black boyfriend or something, which is fine. I have no problem with that. But she's ashamed of it. And it's kind of funny because every time people bring it up, it almost completely derails her train of thought, because she knows that the people that she's trying to grift her ideals to hate the idea of her being a coal burner. So it's a little bit funny. Now, you'll notice that she's a bit tall for this. That's a huge bitch. She's very tall. She's like 6'1" or something. Which is actually a good thing, a good trait, I think, to have in a woman. I would love to meet a tall woman. Unfortunately, it just is not in the cards because women are generally short, much like Anna is in this. But, you know, how you appear on stage is important, because people think that debates are all about facts and logic. Not really. The reality is that debates are won by feelings, and your frame. Now, you can use facts and logics to establish that, and there are like a very vast minority of people that are actually affected by data and cohesive arguments. But basically, if you make your opponent look stupid, if you make your opponent look bad, then you've won the debate. This is the reality, okay? This is the reality. And this is kind of a almost unfortunate thing for Pearl. Because she is taller in this debate, she has to hold up her paper. First of all, she shouldn't be reading from a paper at all. This is ridiculous. It's like a 5-minute opening speech that she has or whatever. Just memorize that shit. It makes her look unprepared. It makes her look unprofessional. And I guess Anna has like, I don't know if you want to call the Young Turks like a professional newscasting experience, but like she's much more prepared for this. And that shows almost immediately. I didn't really watch the opening statements. I just was watching it, like the funny parts where she's getting absolutely destroyed. But I guess we'll go back and watch the whole thing. Why not? We got a couple hours. We'll be fine. She's 6'1", the same height as Ralph. Is that true? That's not true. But yeah, and like another point is that like because she's taller, she actually had to pick up the microphone at one point, and then so it makes her look ill prepared, and she's hunching over, and it's just these things that make her look less like even in this first frame. You can just see that Anna looks very confident. So, and these all matter. It does matter. People are emotional creatures, even men. And the men hate hearing this. Like, no, 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 no. I only believe in facts. Most men are swayed by emotions, just like everybody, because that's what the reality of being a human. All right. So I guess we'll just get into it. And I do have some criticisms of both parties, but this was an absolute bodying of Pearl Davis. And like, I think that's what happened is that a lot of these people that like grift off this idea that all women are like OnlyFans slags and that like they ain't no shit. You gotta have 10 girlfriends to be an alpha male. Like these people, they kind of just end up debating like OnlyFans people or very like not very well experienced people in the world, and they kind of make themselves look a lot smarter by comparison. And this is what the Whatever podcast does. Now, while I find the Whatever podcast in times very funny, it's not something that I watch like more than just the clips because yeah, it's a laugh, but there's no real substance there. There's no quality there. And they kind of just the same thing over and over and over. Look at how dumb these slags are. But if that's your only opponent, then you really like debating is a muscle. It's a skill, and if you don't use it, you lose it. And this is what I think has happened to Pearl, is that she's been in her hug box for so long. She was just totally unprepared for this event. All right, so let's get into their opening statements. Watch this at 1.25 speed, because it is about an hour long. Plus, with all the pauses, it's probably going to be like a 2-3 hours we're going to be here for. So lock in for the duration. Oh, and I should mention this is the World War debate, which I think this is like an 8-hour stream. But they're putting out some pretty entertaining stuff. It's kind of like very, very pro wrestling coded, I guess, even though I'm not a pro wrestling fan. All right, let's skip to the opening statements. There we go. Video muted. Thank you very much, chat. Let me know how the sound sounds now.
We're not pod.
Maybe got 5 minutes.
In a May 2024 appearance on Tim Pool's Culture War podcast, my opponent, Pearl Davis, declared that women aren't really doing much. We're not having kids. We're not really contributing to the economy when you look at output. In fact, she uses this ridiculous assertion to argue that women should not have the right to vote. While
now, before you say based, let's hear her out. And I will be interjecting some parts of this for Anna as well. Don't worry about it. But let's just see where she's going with this.
True, the birth rate has declined, and we'll revisit that in a bit. Women account for 47% of the American workforce. The Council of Economic Advisors found that women have contributed a substantial portion of the U.S. economic growth since 1970, which wouldn't have been made possible without the feminist movement.
I have some disagreements here. And that is that this is a very hard statistic to actually verify, because if women are putting so much money into the economy, why is everyone complaining about having no money? Like, shouldn't we all be rich? Like 41% of the economy, but everyone's still like living paycheck to paycheck in America. The average American doesn't have $500 in their bank account. What's going on here? And with women in particular, it's very difficult to calculate their actual input into the economy, because for every woman that becomes like a career woman and has no children, that's, well, one child that she's not putting back into the economy, because women do drive the economy by having children. Like if a man puts out, so much economic output in his life, if a man is not born, he cannot create that input. And women are the only people that can do that. Like, it's the most important role in society. Now, that doesn't mean that women should be forced to have children. I don't think so. I think they should have the right to choose whether they go to work or they want to be a stay-at-home mom or whatever. That's fine. But the reality is that a lot of the women that women go into are kind of nonsense jobs, and a lot of them are kind of just subsidizing other women not working. Like, a lot of women go into healthcare, not healthcare. Healthcare is a good role for women, actually, but like early child education care, like daycares and things like that. Not the ones in Minnesota, of course, but the women that are looking after children in daycare are just doing the job for other women that could just be doing it for themselves. So it's kind of like this, almost like like this endless recycling of productivity. And in some countries, like I believe in New Zealand, most women are not net taxpayers. Like I actually looked this up. In New Zealand, 90% of women, or something crazy, I'm just making the statistic up, obviously, are negative taxpayers. They take more out than they put into the economy. So that is one consideration for this. Now, of course, these are opening statements. You're not supposed to like butt in and interject or anything, but I just will mention, like, I'm not just because I'm going to be defending or cheering on Anna in this, I'm not like a feminist or anything, guys. Okay. Just give me some freedom here. Just wanted to put out my thoughts. Yes, it's the leering day cat. Exactly. Trent with a 5 says, the reason that Pearl debates e-whores is the same reason Ben Shapiro only dates college kids. Yeah, this is exactly what I was trying to point out. And that's probably the very succinct way of doing it, is that they pick these easy targets and then farm them for XP, basically.
By 2017, women were responsible for nearly 40% of total gross domestic product, amounting to a whopping $7.6 trillion. Of course.
And again, if this was true, and it was like really, bettering of everyone's lives, how come you used to be able to support a family on one income, and now the reality is that it's impossible for many people in Western countries?
That figure doesn't include the trillions of dollars in unpaid labor women do every year, tending to the household, raising children, and caring for ailing parents. And when it comes to certain sectors of our economy,
sector mentioned, just very cute,
women are a dominant and indispensable force. Like in the healthcare industry, where they make up nearly 80% of workers, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics.
Yeah, I think that nursing is a really good industry for women to go into, honestly. Like, we have to mention that there are some realities about men and women, that there are differences. And there's nothing wrong with saying that. Women are better at like caring and supportive roles. And that's just like a biological fact. That's the reason that many women, in fact, earn lower than men, is not because of sexism in the system, but it's because women choose to go into these fields that are generally lower paying, and also careers work on momentum, which means that, like, if you take a few years off to have a child, your career is going to suffer as a result. And unfortunately, I'm sorry, women, but women do have to be the primary caregiver in a proper, stable family, because women are the only ones with the equipment to breastfeed. And if you want your child to be successful, if you want them to have like early development skills, everything like that, all the good stuff, you really do need to breastfeed for 1.5 to 2 years. That's the recommended. This can make a difference of like 5 to 10 IQ points in a child. And the difference between having a 100 IQ child and a 110 IQ child is massive. Or even thinking about like a 90 IQ child and a 100 IQ child. This is crazy. And the thing is, this is only like 2 to 5 years essentially is all that's required. It's a very small sacrifice, but it's one that I believe that women should be making if they want to have a family. Now, if you don't want to have a family, if you just want to be like the cool wine aunt your entire life, that should be your choice too. But if you are going to have a family, if you are going to get married, then these are sacrifices that you should do for the betterment of the child. And men make sacrifices too. Men work jobs they hate. Men slave away for hours all day just to provide for this lifestyle. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's the natural way. And frankly, people are just happier. People are just happier if they fall into their natural roles. Like, a lot of people are like, a lot of young men in particular are really unhappy right now, and they don't know why. And it's because they're trying to follow this like alpha ched lifestyle where you've got 10 girlfriends and you're not paying for any of these bitches' drinks. You're sending them home in Uber. Like, no, if you actually become a male role, like you find someone to protect, someone to provide for, your body, your mind, your chemicals, everything in your brain, whatever you want to call it, your soul rewards you because you did what you were supposed to do. It's just the way it be, okay? Until we're all cyber entities living in the metaverse or whatever, you're going to get happiness and rewards from your body and your brain for doing what nature intended.
That's 16.4 million women. When it comes to education, in 1960, women earned less than 35% of all bachelor's degrees. Today, they earn roughly 58% of all bachelor's degrees, which Pearl...
But I mean, a lot of these bachelor degrees are like completely useless, by the way. Like, who gives a shit if like women are getting 60% of the basket weaving degrees? The college industrial complex is probably one of the biggest scams that has been brought over our entire country. Well, I mean, when I should say country, I should say the world. Like the idea that like you don't want to be a garbage man, you don't want to be flipping burgers at McDonald's. When you actually look at the benefits and the pay that garbage men get, it's actually pretty good. Also, Anna is looking fine here. And I mean, she just looks great. She looks very cute. I'll say it. Okay. Don't call me a simp. I'm just saying this matters. Pearl's over here wearing like a baggy shirt, like she just wandered off the street. Anna looks like she knows what she's talking about. She looks like a news presenter. She looks attractive, and that's going to matter to the audience. Again, it's like just the natural reality of these are actual true facts, okay?
Herself benefited from after graduating from Elmhurst University. Women also earn over 60% of master's degrees. I hope to hear Pearl explain how a more educated and skilled population somehow translates to cultural decline, especially as we compete with China in this increasingly multipolar...
Pearl's pirate maxi with her puffy shirt, but I don't want to be a pirate. Sorry, I had to throw in some references there. I've been listening to a lot of Seinfeld recently while I work.
...world. The modern feminist movement also had a major impact on decreasing domestic violence, and that's according to the U.S. Department of Justice.
Yeah, I think there are some, this will be controversial maybe not, but I think it's good that feminism helped reduce the amount of women getting beaten up, okay? I'm just going to say it. There are some good points with first wave feminism. Now, second wave feminism, third wave feminism, I have a lot more criticism of those, but there was some good things that happened, okay?
Rates of intimate partner...
Okay, sorry. All right, sorry, I have to appeal to the chat if I want to get those donos, those alimonies. All right, maybe PT would be good. No, just kidding, of course.
Violence decreased by more than 60% from 1994 to 2010.
It's actually like it is kind of insane when you look back, like even 100 years ago, some of the practices people were doing. Like I remember when I was reading Anna Karenina, and like one of the chicks goes to the doctor and they basically just like beat her off to help cure her female hysteria. But like some of the things they used to do, like the frontal lobotomy crap, like that is insane. It's like from an entire, like it feels like it's from 1,000 years ago, not like even just 100 years ago. Wild stuff, but it's bad.
And that's thanks.
Sean Connery said it best, that sometimes you have to slap a bitch. Look, I think Sean Connery was somewhat correct in that you sometimes have to slap a bitch, but I think that bitch can go for men or women. Like if someone's being hysterical, sometimes slapping them does get them back into coherence. Now, I have never slapped someone to get them back into coherence, but in certain situations, like you're on a sinking ship and someone's screaming and hysterical, I think a slap around the face to get them to knock into like game mode, that'd be perfectly fine. Okay.
To protective order statutes and funding for shelters beginning in the 1970s and 80s. Not only did the two-income household become more financially resilient, especially during economic downturns.
Is this true though? Because all I hear from people in America is that they can't afford to make rent, they can't afford to go out, they can't afford to buy houses. If this is true, where's all the money going?
Women gained the ability to leave abusive relationships, an outcome correlated with improved child health and educational attainment.
I think one thing, though, women do need to take more responsibility in is that getting into these relationships that are abusive relationships. Now, obviously, they're not responsible for the abuse, but women are responsible for vetting their partners. If you get into a marriage with a abusive husband, do people change over time? Sure, maybe like, they start doing drugs or they start doing alcohol or something to the point where they become a completely different person. Yes, but a lot of women don't admit that they are responsible for getting into these relationships with destructive, dangerous men because they are attracted to some of those features. It's like, oh, he's a bad boy. Oh, wait a minute, the bad boy's hitting me now that we're married. Well, you kind of are somewhat responsible for making that bad choice. Now, that doesn't mean you deserve it, not necessarily, but women are like the primary, well, you know what I'm going to say. It's like the old tried and true statement, but men are the gatekeepers of relationships and women are the gatekeepers of sex, and that women become too lax with handing that out. They get themselves into these situations.
A culture that protects people from violence is not one that's indicative of cultural decline. Pearl herself has benefited greatly from the feminist movement.
True. Why isn't this bitch standing in front of a... Why isn't she standing in front of a stove right now cooking, and why is she up on this stage? And Anna is married, by the way. Like, Pearl's gotta like nut up and have a marriage and have some kids or something if she wants to prove that her way of life is the preferred or the better way to do things.
To Title IX in 1972, signed by Nixon, of course. Sex-based discrimination in any school program or activity that receives federal funding is prohibited. Pearl herself had a rather impressive record playing for Elmhurst University's volleyball team, having earned all conference honors as a senior. She later pursued professional volleyball in London.
That's a huge bitch. She's 6'2".
She could have stayed
6'1".
in the United States and served in her role as a traditional woman, but she didn't. And she could have been the traditional chaste woman living out her dream of everything women were supposed to do before feminism. But she is neither traditional nor chaste by her own admission.
Ooh. Like, this is the fun part, is like Anna throws in so, like, she looks professional. She looks like she's dressed up for a presidential debate, but then she throws in these jabs. She's not chaste. She's a slut. Oh my goodness. Like, how do you how do you respond to this if you're in Pearl's situation? You're a whore. Like, what do you do? What do you absolute? Like, there's just no comeback.
While feminists would have no problem with her personal choices, she has made a career bashing women for theirs. Critics often argue that modern feminism has weakened families and resulted in a lower birth rate. They tend to dismiss empirical evidence demonstrating the insidious impact of the internet, social media on modern relationships. They also brush economic instability under the rug, despite young people citing their personal finances as the main reason why they're holding off on marriage in the first place. In lieu of
this always kind of like, this is a very like idiocracies like talking point almost, that like the people that are smart enough to hold off a marriage are the ones that never have any kids. Like, they're like, well, my finances aren't right, so I'm not going to be prepared for it. So these people never have any families. And then you have all the dumb idiots that are like on welfare. They're just having 5 kids. How is it that poor people have the most children? And then people are going to complain about not having finances to have children. There exist, okay? There's programs, okay? Just go out there and have kids if you want to change the world.
Discussing those factors, Pearl spends much of her time discouraging men from getting married in the first place. During her debate with Trent Horn, she declared that men are better off shacking up without ever getting married. Her reasoning? Women are too fat and STD infected.
Well, I mean, Pearl does say some truth, to be fair. Okay, this is true. Women are, I mean, everyone is fat these days, especially in the Western world. I mean, I've got a bit of extra chunk myself, but yeah, there is extremely high STI rates or STD rates in all of the free world, especially when it comes to like HPV or something, herpes. That's something like crazy, like 30-40% of all people, or at least all sexually active people. I think actually when I was in New Zealand, it was the world capital for venereal diseases. Very disgusting stuff.
25%, that's a lot.
You did say that.
Oh, she said 25%? I thought it was higher. Maybe New Zealand is 30-40%. It's pretty crazy. Although, to be fair, like, a lot of these are like permanent, like their statistic is referring specifically to HPV, which is incurable. I think there is a vaccine for it, but like, it's kind of weird. Like in New Zealand, I think all females get the HPV vaccine because I think it helps with, I want to say cervical cancer, but they don't give it to men for some reason, which seems stupid. Like, realistically, both should be getting it, right? Is there something I'm not seeing to this? So that could be some inequality we could fix, specifically in New Zealand. Why does New Zealand have so much herpes? Good question. I could probably tell you why, but I have to be a little bit careful. I've already said too much truth already.
She didn't stop to think about how they contracted the STDs in the first place. Data from the National Library of Medicine show that modern men are just as promiscuous as modern women. Men and women are in bad shape, and in the United States, we can discuss why, but feminism is not the reason.
Very good. Thank you.
All right, so that's her opening statement. Like I said, I think she was very well prepared. So as an opening statement, I think that's very good. Now, again, I did have some problems with what she actually said and some disagreements on her points and worldview. However, like if we're just judging this from like an objective point, it was confident, it was well rehearsed. She didn't have to like pick up any paper. Like Pearl's already holding a paper, and you see this a lot going forward as she's like flipping through the notes looking for the answers, because unfortunately a lot of people think they're a lot smarter than they are because they have like grok at their fingertips to answer everything for them, and when they actually forced to stand what they believe in or what they think is true, they can't back it up. But I would say there's like an 8 out of 10 opening. Very good. Very fun. But for the actual content, I very much disagree with a lot of what she said. But just purely from a performative point of view, very, very good. Let's see how Pearl does.
Nice job. Okay, Pearl, we got 5 minutes. You're going to be on the clock, and let's go.
Most debaters and commentators are elitists who tell average Americans from their ivory towers what to think and how to feel. My answer to this question not only comes from covering current events and researching the facts, data, and statistics, but also in my professional...
See, like, just holding this piece of paper up, like, she couldn't memorize this. It's like a 5-minute opening. This is she just immediately seems to me ill-prepared.
Experience interviewing over 1,000 people in America and Western nations. Feminism has given women power and power...
Isn't Pearl some OF thought? Like, what is she doing in this space? No. So Pearl is basically like a Andrew Tate orbiter. I guess that's... I mean, I don't really know her actual genesis of her career, but essentially she's like the right-wing space. All women are sluts. You've got to be an alpha Chad male if you want to have any success. You've got to have like 5 girlfriends. Like that sort of like manosphere sort of stuff that I find is like... Some of the stuff that they say is true. That's the problem with the manosphere stuff, is that like if you go to the gym, if you get a career that pays a lot of money, if you take pride in yourself, those are good things that men should be doing. But then they go onto this weird tangent where they're like, well, you've got to have 20 girlfriends, and then don't get married until you're 35. Like this sort of stuff is just bullshit. If you're like a young guy, you should be improving yourself. But if you find the person that's right for you, don't wait. Like obviously have some time to have some time dating to make sure that they are the person that you say they are, like a couple of years or something, probably minimum. But if you find the person that's right for you, you should be getting married, and if you want a family, starting a family. Like this idea that you have to run through all of the sluts in California before you get married is just going to leave a lot of men being sad, and contributes to the problem, which is what I really have a problem with. These are actual grifters in my opinion. The people that sell this ideology that is going to make you less happy while they accept your money for their own betterment.
And that's what's happening. Feminism is robbing men of their disposable income and their prime earning years. Feminism
is robbing men of their prime income? I mean, during their primary earning years? Is she going to back this up? Like, I'm not going to say that she's making it up entirely, but like, I would like some more information on this.
Has empowered women. It has empowered women to be sexually promiscuous. Feminists say that they fought for women to not subject themselves to the approval of men. Why then are...
All right, let's go back a bit. I'll give her a chance to re-say that because maybe I wasn't listening.
Men of their disposable income and their prime earning years. Feminism has...
The prime earning years for a man would be like what, 30 to 40 or maybe 40 to 50? Like when he's actually established his career, when he's been working the workforce for like, how does... Oh, I guess the implication is because of divorce and alimony. I think that's what she's inferring there.
Empowered women. It has empowered women to be sexually promiscuous. Feminists say that they fought for women to not subject themselves to the approval of men. Why then are 5 to 10% of women between the ages of 18 to 25 on OnlyFans or other prostitution websites?
Wait, what did she say? What did she say?
Of women between the ages of 18 to approval of men. Why then are 5 to 10% of women between the ages of 18 to 25 on OnlyFans or other prostitution websites?
5 to 10% of all women aged 18 to 25 are on OnlyFans? This has to be localized. I don't believe this statistic. Sure, certainly globally this is not true. Now in America and in California, perhaps, if that is true, like let's take Pearl at her word at the moment. If it is 10% of all women aged 18 to 25 in America, that is a disgusting statistic. And the really sad thing is that like only 1% of OnlyFans owners actually make like an actual wage. The majority, like 90, 99, 98% of all women on OnlyFans make less than a couple $100 their entire time on the platform. And they sell out their entire dignity for nothing. Does Pearl have an OnlyFans? Maybe, but nobody's ever purchased it.
There are more online prostitutes in America than female Walmart employees. 1 of 3 women will catch an STD at some point in their lifetime.
This is true, I believe. Like I said, 30%. It's like around 30% of women, or of all people, really get an STD. But primarily, it is HPV.
90% will catch HPV, which is incurable.
HPV.
Feminism has empowered women to abort 1/8 of the world population and 1/3 of Gen Z. Feminists have been so empowered to commit paternity fraud. Paternity fraud is unpunished in any state in the USA or any country in the West. If done correctly, a man will have to pay for a child he was fooled into.
Just a second, like, sorry. These things do matter. Like, these nitpicking that I'm about to do matter. But like, look at this. Like, first of all, she's reading from a paper, which just looks ill prepared. But look how big these letters are. Look at this. N. There's an N right here. That's a huge N. How big is this chick's type font? Like, these are like double, like, this is some big, what does this say? Like, no money, something? Like, she can't read. Maybe she needs glasses or something, but I know this is just a big type font. But again, it just doesn't look professional. It looks like she's a high school student reading her, like, book report.
Believing was his until that child reaches maturity. In some states, that man will also have to pay for that kid's college. That is slavery and is forbidden under the 13th Amendment.
Now, I do think that alimony is some shit. That's some shit. If I quit my job, I don't get maybe I get a severance package, but like, I don't get paid for not going to work. Child support is a different matter though. And I think that they kind of try and use alimony and child support interchangeably in this debate, which is not the case.
1/3 of paternity tests are negative by the American Association of Blood Banks.
All right, this statistic, while they're very bad, the 1 in 3 paternity tests are, it turns out you are not the father, hashtag. This is kind of a skewed demographic because it's the people that are already suspicious of infidelity that go for paternity tests at all. So of the subset of people that search for, like, is their wife being unfaithful or whatever, 1/3 of those results turn out to be true. So it's not like 1/3 of all children don't have their real fathers or they're being cucked. That's not the case. Although it does remind me of a very funny like anecdote from it was like a school was doing like this. They were teaching about genetics, and they were talking about how different eye colors. If your mother's got this eye color and your father's got this eye color, then you're going to have this eye color. And they decided to do like their homework was basically go back, find out what your parents' eye color is, and then find out the chances that you got your eye color. And by doing that test, they actually revealed that a lot of kids weren't, their fathers weren't their real fathers. It was very sad. Funny way to reveal it, like sad funny, you know.
Feminism has empowered women to rob men.
Oh, no, wait, it wasn't eye color, sorry. It was blood type. Blood type, I think it was about.
Time, their resources, their reputation, their children, and in the most extreme cases, their lives. They do this through child support, alimony, false allegations, and paternity fraud. How many people in this arena have a brother, a father, an uncle, or a friend who has gone through this meat grinder? Anna has been on the air for 15 years and is completely oblivious to these issues. It's a silent genocide of the lives of millions of men. Standing on the sidelines of the arena, I have 33-year combat veteran Terrence Popp. He served through 3 wars and was almost...
Anna is very petite. I think Anna's like a normal-sized woman, which is around like 5 foot something. It's just that Pearl is very tall. Like, she is tall, and she looks like she's wearing heels as well.
Killed in 2. He got married, had 2 children, and served in the United States Army.
I like Anna. She's slowly red-pilling. The really crazy thing, because I watched mostly the middle part of this, and I was like, all right, we need to do a stream about this. This is too entertaining. Anna actually really advocates for the family and for traditional values in this debate, which is kind of crazy. I was almost confused when I was watching it because it seems like Anna is the only one that actually cares about the family and like traditional values. But anyway, all right, who's this guy?
Killed in 2. He got married, had 2 children, and served in the United States Army. Terrence Popp was deployed to Iraq in 2004, and as a member of the airborne infantry, he was wounded by a roadside bomb and suffered a TBI and a stroke from the blast. He was evacuated out of the country, and it took over 2 years until he had recovered. While he was recovering, his wife was plotting to divorce him. His wife murdered his 6-year-old chocolate lab out of spite because he filed for divorce first.
The wife should be executed for that, I'll just say. But like, I'm kind of confused why they have this guy in the audience and why the camera knows how to focus on him. Like, did they prepare this in advance? It almost seems like they were setting up Anna in this. It's like a very weird thing to request this. And I don't know. I mean, maybe this was like there was multiple people talking and debating. Maybe she's referencing a previous debater. Maybe that would make sense. But it kind of seems odd to me. It's just my personal thought.
When he confronted her, the response he got was, "I told you."
She's reading so fast. Well, it is on 1.5 speed, I will say. So it's just important to note that. But she does look nervous. She does shaking, and she is reading, not looking at the audience, not looking at her opponent, just looking at the paper. It's like it's beta body language, if we're being honest.
"I did not want you living here." At this point, he was forced to leave the marital home and live out of his car. The divorce took away his home, his children, and left him penniless and saddled with a child support payment he could not afford. Terrence had to pay $144,000 over a 12-year period for a divorce that his wife was empowered by feminists to plan and execute. Terrence went into court to fight for 50-50 custody. Terrence was called a murderer and an assassin in open court and was given 96 hours a month with his children. 96 hours a month is not a father.
I mean, I don't know about this guy, but I will just assume that he did get divorce raped, which does happen. Like, I will admit that, of course, that does happen. There are bitches out there on both sides of the aisle.
Homeless, he spoke to many other men who would never get off the streets due to child charges and penalties, and the men constantly getting arrested for unpaid child support. The disparage of losing his children and his home, and his PTSD and constant pain from his wounds, he became suicidal. While at his post in 2008, a former commander of his came to see him to
Imagine sitting there and listening to how a woman ruined you. Why is he doing this? I mean, maybe he enjoyed it. Maybe he's a masochist or something.
secretly say his last goodbyes. The next day, Mr. Pop's former commander put on his dress blues and went to the Holy National Veterans Cemetery and blew his brains out. Terrence Pop was notified of the death and was shocked because he was planning to commit suicide in the exact same manner. So in effect, his former commander took the bullet that was meant for him. Terrence Pop decided he would not kill himself and has spent the last 20 years saving 576 men from suicide.
You can't just say this, okay? You can't just tell people to have some responsibility and own up their mistakes. They don't like it, okay? But this is very true. Men and women everybody needs to make better decisions and stop rushing into these like life-changing or life-altering events. And a lot of people just don't want to hear that. And that's why these sort of content is so popular and so polarizing, is that there's a lot of men out there that are just bitter and they want to hear that OnlyFans like slags are dumb. That's why the Whatever podcast, the Andrew Tates, the Pill Davises, that's why they have such a large audience. It is very entertaining at times, like the what was that giant Jabba the Hutt chick that they had on there? Well, I guess it was a dude, right? But I mean, you get this on, again, for both of these, like with the politics stuff. This is why the Young Turks also has a very big following. But people just don't want to take responsibility for their actions. And most of the problems in society do stem from that, in my opinion.
With comedy. If you look to the left of the stage, Terrence is holding the dog tags for every live that he has saved. Now, why am I telling you this? Shout out to Terrence. Yeah.
I mean, if this guy did do that, great, grats on him, good for him. I'm just very confused why this was pre-prepared and why the camera is already focusing. He's got these props here. For a debate format, this seems very odd to me.
Now, why am I telling you this? Because men and American veterans are put in this position because of the empowerment that feminists like Anna have pushed for. There are millions of men that have died in this country from the political power that
today's women are not worth the effort. This is just not true. I'm not going to tell you that you don't have to like sift through and find the gems, but this is the same for both men and women. There are a lot of shit men out there that are just worthless and they're not doing anything, and women are falling for these guys. And there are a lot of women that are just like trying to get free meals and make as much money they can off doing this, like, you know, slag behavior. It is true, but there are wonderful women out there that are waiting for the right man, and the same with men looking for the men and women both. This idea that there's like, it's not worth the effort. This is just like admitting defeat. This is a self-fulfilling prophecy. If you believe that there's no women out there that aren't worth it, then that's exactly what you're going to find. But my suggestion would be maybe stop going to like bars and looking for women, and stop going to parties looking for women, and maybe try and like join some groups, you know, find something that's your interest, and you'll probably find someone there that has something, either you share an interest or a friend of a friend can recommend you. That's the sort of way you should be meeting people. Like these like apps and things, they're not really going to be conducive for a long-term relationship.
feminism pushes. Since 1970, an estimated 1.6 million men have committed suicide.
Time. Stop it.
If that's about equality, why aren't they fighting for equality in divorce and family court as hard as they are fighting for abortion, working, or becoming sex workers?
Become a streamer and meet BPD women. Don't do this either. Like, Absolutely do this.
Okay. This is gonna be a heavy one. We're gonna go.
Literally met my wife on a dating app called Hinge. I've never used Hinge. I have used dating apps before. I'm not going to tell you that like I'm like some Puritan or something like that. This is not the case. Although I didn't meet my girlfriend from a dating app, my current girlfriend. Literally met my wife off a dating app called Hinge. If you actually have some intention of trying to date someone, you will find the right person. Well, congratulations. And there are a lot of successful relationships that have come from these. It's just that that's just not the average case. So you're kind of like the example that almost disproves the rule there. But congratulations, that's great. But yeah, a lot of men as well, they go into like dating apps or dating scene and they take advice from like the Andrew Tate types, and they're like, well, I'm just gonna fuck as many chicks as possible in this app, and that's what leads them to unhappiness ultimately.
Go now to the opening interrogations. We have 10 minutes. Do we have that on the
Did
clock?
I meet her imitating that bird? Okay, I'll show you this real quickly because I think this is really adorable. But like I told this last time I did a stream, in that I went to the zoo. I got scammed to going to the zoo. And if you're on the Discord, you can see this. Hold on. Here you go. So this is the kookaburra that I was talking to. Just so you guys know that I'm not lying and I can talk to kookaburras. See, the kookaburra and I are talking. This was from the weekend. Kookaburras are so adorable. I love kookaburras. This is the content that you get in the Discord. See? I told you I could do it. My special power. There you go. There you go. Kookaburra sit in the old gum tree. Yeah, Merry Merry King of the Bush is he. But that's all the song will sing for it. Crocodile Dundee maxing. Kookaburras are so much fun to talk to. Trust me. Anyway, sorry, that's the kookaburra segment.
It's fading in right there. Okay, and take it away. 10 minutes.
Who's interrogating who?
Whoever wants to begin.
Aside from the specific anecdote that you shared, which of course is tragic, can you cite some actual studies that look at the statistics and back up what you say in regard to the outcomes of marriage and divorce in America?
41% of 109 rape cases reported to police in a Midwestern city were admitted to be false by complainants.
In one Midwestern city? And which Midwestern city was that?
You know, you can go from your ivory tower.
Oh, wait, what? Oh, no. Now, this may be a correct statistic, but if you're going to quote statistics, you damn well better know exactly where they're coming from. What's your source? I made it the fuck up. This is not a good look. Anna is dominating already. We're just, like, there's just 20 seconds into the actual open interaction.
I'm not in an ivory tower. I'm on this debate stage interrogating your assertions, and you've only provided an anecdote.
She looks scared. She's scared, chat. Look at it. She's like, look
stage interrogating your assertions, and you've only provided an anecdote.
She wasn't prepared for this. Oh, no. She actually looks like a deer caught in the headlights. Like, this is they've just been going for 20 seconds.
Right.
Because if you look at the data, which I did, of course, you'll find that women are twice as likely to fall into poverty after divorce.
Right, because they can't
alimony
stop
is paid
spending.
out in 10% of divorces.
I don't think alimony should exist. There should be zero alimony whatsoever. Now, if you get married, I know the arguments, right? Like, you're married for 25 years, the man is increasing his earning potential, and then the woman, like, she's out on the street, and now she has no money, she has no job, and she has no experience. When a divorce happens, yeah, you should get 50%, maybe. Depends, I guess. I think that, like, I mean, this is an entire other topic, but, like, if you go to divorce, a very simple way to just everything should be is, like, everyone keeps the stuff that they had before the relationship. Everything that happened during the marriage is split equally, and then you go your separate ways. Alimony, no alimony. Okay, if there's children, then child support payments, sure, but no alimony. Alimony is just absolutely bullshit, and that's what killed my, well, didn't kill my friend, but it ruined my boy, Brendan Fraser. The money. It's all about the money. Now, I'm very happy to see that Brendan Fraser is having a resurgence and that he's living his best life and his smile's been returned. But, like, for a while there, he was perhaps the most raped man in the alimony sector. So, You know, The Mummy was like unironically one of my favorite films. The Mummy and The Mummy Returns. They're so good. They're so good. Mummy 3 is shit though. Don't like that one. But I want to watch his. I guess he's got like a new TV show or movie. What is it, like Rent a Family or something? Got to check that out.
According to the Census Bureau, the average child support payment is $441 a month, and
Right, go back. Was that child support or alimony?
alimony is
Stop
paid
spending.
out in 10% of divorces. According to the
10% too
Census
many.
Bureau, the average child support payment is $441 a month.
All right. So this is a mistake that I have with while Anna is dominating, this is just a big problem that I think she's making with her arguments, is that she's conflating the alimony and child support are the same thing. They are not. Child support payments I can understand. Men should be paying, like, if you don't have completely shared custody, then yes, child support payments should be going to the children for the children's stuff. Like, it's bullshit when women buy like a new pair of shoes with their child support. That's garbage. That shouldn't be happening. It should only be for child related experiences. But yeah, children are expensive. They've got costs and they need to be paid for.
And only 60%
Right, but how
of
much are
those
they
payments
making?
get paid out.
How much-
Women do not get child custody 90% of the time, as you have asserted before. In fact, 95% of
See, look at like Pearl going through her notes. She's like looking for the statistics. These should have been memorized. She knew what she was going into, and she just was not prepared. Now, while Anna also has some notes on her paper, she's just better. I mean, this is kind of a fault of Pearl being too tall, and they're not giving her a taller podium. It's not one size fits all, but the audience is going to pick up on this. That she just looks like a clown.
custody cases are mutually agreed upon outside of the courtroom. Women get full custody 40% of the time. Men do get full custody 20% of the time. And 40% of the time, it's shared custody, which I think is the ideal situation, assuming that neither spouse is abusive.
Yeah, I think I can agree with that. Like, shared custody, you shouldn't be getting divorced. And the funny thing is, I mean, I believe like 90% of cases, again, I'm just making this the fuck up because no one's here to push me back on my statistics, like Anna is pushing back on or pushing in Pearl's shit. If people that are thinking about getting divorced, if they stay married, after 5 years, they're much happier than they would have been if they did get divorced. A lot of divorces are for bullshit reasons. And I think a lot of people just don't put their, like, if you're married and you hate the other person, there's no kids, I have no problem with divorce immediately. Just that's fine. You got married for a bad decision. There's no harm, no foul, whatever. But if there's children involved, you really seriously need to think about putting your own differences aside for the betterment of the children, because children just do better in an environment with two parents. And when you get divorced and there's you start dating while you've got kids, that introduces a lot of other factors, unknown people coming into the home, which is very dangerous for young children, obviously. So I wish that both men and women would take more responsibility, but in the situations where divorce is inevitable, they should be getting shared custody, absolutely, provided there's no abuse on either side.
And Pearl, excuse me, before you respond, if you could take your microphone out and hold it, it would be easier to hear you.
Okay.
Again, this is kind of like a bit of a faux pas, or not faux pas, but mistake on the World War people, is that now she has to hold the mic, which is going to, again, make her look more clumsy and ill-prepared. And this is just not her fault. It's just because she's tall, but it does matter. There's no point in marriage if you're not having children and sacrificing them. I'd agree with this point, honestly. Like, I think that marriage shouldn't be a government institution. It should just be between two people. But yeah, if you're just not going to have kids, then you may as well just stay boyfriend or girlfriend forever. What's the point? Like, yeah, you want to have a party? You can have a party. You don't have to get married. Like, it's just... I almost absolutely agree with this 100%. Now there is some arguments that you want to get married for like benefits after the person dies and things like that. But again, you could sort these out without the government, just through contracts. We could take the government out of the entire equation by setting up these sort of like after the contracts with like lifetime partners, whatever.
Alimony and medical care and dental are not covered by that, so a lot of times it does go above 50%. Again, you can go through the facts, the data, and the statistics and manipulate them any way that you want.
It's not
But there
manipulation.
are one-
Those
But like, if you say that, then she can say the same thing to you. I mean, I hear the jury's still out on facts.
are the
6
stats.
million, there are 1.6 million men in this country. Men are 9 times more likely to commit.
Having kids doesn't require marriage either. It's true, it doesn't. But I think that I think that most people agree that the Western world is largely the most successful society, the most successful any type of people that has been created in the history of the world, and a large part of that was through marriage and monogamy. This is why a lot of Western cultures are leagues and bounds ahead of perhaps cultures that accept polyamory and things like that. Now, I think that marriage is a good idea if you have children for several reasons, but primarily it's having the same name, it's sharing the same household, it's being a unit, a group, working together for one cause. And this is why when you have two different people that are just like in a domestic partnership or something, it's not quite the same. It's kind of a bit weird. It's like you're not putting 100% into the environment, in my opinion. Now, I could be wrong, but that's my worldview. If you're not putting everything towards the goal of making it the best environment for your family, your future, your children, then what's the point?
Suicide after a divorce.
Compared to women, what's the number for women?
It's lower.
Really?
All right, let's go back.
There are
Those are the
1.6
stats.
million. There are 1.6 million men in this country. Men are not.
I think she means suicides, not men in the country, because obviously that's, what is it, 150 million American men?
9 times more. Again,
Back a bit more.
alimony and medical care and dental are not covered by that, so a lot of times it does go above 50%. Again, you can go through the facts, the data, and the statistics and manipulate them any way that you want.
It's not
But
manipulation.
there are
Those are the
1.6
stats.
million. There are 1.6 million men in this country. Men are 9 times more likely to commit suicide after a divorce.
Compared to women, what's the number for women?
It's lower.
Really? What is it? Comparative analysis is real difficult for you, isn't it?
Okay.
This doesn't look good. Now, I will try and give some credit to Pearl here. Now, I think what she wants to say is that men are 9 times more likely to commit suicide after a divorce, but that's not because of the divorce necessarily. It's because men are just better at getting things done. Like, women commit less suicide overall because men, when they set their mind to something, they actually go out and do it. So this is just about men get shit done, including offing themselves. They're just more deliberate, they're more decisive, and they actually make like a strategy towards going towards this goal. Of jumping off a cliff or whatever. Now, it's sad, it shouldn't be that case, absolutely, I agree. But it's one of the things that men are more likely to do this than women.
Go ahead, Pearl.
Oh, we're gonna go back this because it's like the audience I think was very much on Pearl's side at the beginning, and they're starting to turn.
For women.
It's lower.
Really? What is it? Comparative analysis is real difficult for you, isn't it?
Okay.
Go ahead, Pearl.
The guy in the audience saying, damn.
You have asserted that men shouldn't get married, that instead they should
I
shack
didn't say
up.
that.
You did say that with
did
Trent
not say
Horn. Word for word. You said it makes more sense for them to shack up, live with a girlfriend instead of getting married. Do you think the advice that you give to men is the type of advice that will fulfill their lives? Because I'll tell you one thing, the best part of my life is my husband. I love my husband. He's my rock, he's my foundation. And no, my husband is number one. I love my career, but you know what my career did? When I met my husband, my career...
I mean, right at the, like, Anna is making herself very likable in this so far. And Pearl's just like eggless, unmarried, sitting there like fumbling with her notes, spaghetti's pulling out of her pockets. It's like embarrassing. And this is like only 15 minutes into this hour and 15-minute debate. There's another hour of this. Like, this is just like stick a fork in her. She's fucking done.
was already established. He, on the other hand, was couch surfing. He was in debt and didn't know what he wanted to do with his life.
I will say, though, that like this is a tip for both men and women. So while Anna is talking about how her husband is the best part of her life, she is kind of throwing a bit of shade at her husband right now. And this is like something you should just not do. Like, even if these facts are true, don't speak ill of your wife. Don't speak ill of your husband in public for things like he was just couch surfing. He was broke. While that may be the true case, just always be like their biggest cheerleader and your relationships will be much better. Now, if you want to make some jokes like, oh, he puts ketchup on his hot dogs instead of mustard or something, like that sort of stuff, that's fine. Okay, they're just silly little unimportant things. But just like this, like, well, he was a couch surfer, he was broke. Even if it was true in the past and no longer is the case, just don't say that stuff. It'll just be much better for you going forward. Yeah, it's tacky. I'd agree. It's tacky. That's private stuff. It should be private.
I married him anyway. You want to know why? Because I had the economic freedom to marry for love, not for some Chad to take care of me.
How tall is he?
Oh, he's 6'1", about your height.
That's a huge bitch. What did she mean by that? Like, what is she trying to say? Like, I think the implication here is that if you're a broke loser tall guy, you can still get married or something. So it's just like, sorry, short kings, but Pearl doesn't appreciate you, apparently. I care about all the short kings in chat. That's kind of funny. She's like, about the same height as you.
None. I don't want kids.
Let's not do shouting questions from there, please. Allow these two to debate each other.
Okay, what's your question?
I mean, you don't really have much to answer, so I don't know what else to ask you. Do you think you're helping men by discouraging them from entering fulfilling marriages?
What happens to men if they don't pay child support?
I mean, if it's a situation where the man is like skipping out on child support, honestly, he should be penalized for this. Now, there is a really bad situation that happens in America, obviously, where if you don't pay your child support, you get arrested. And while you're in prison, the child support accumulates. And then after you get out of prison, you still owe that money. But then it's hard to get a job because you've been in prison. And then it's kind of like debt slavery. That is a terrible situation. But men should be paying their child support if it's a situation where it is warranted. But again, women should only be spending that child support money on the child. They should not be buying purses and shoes and shit. That's some BS.
What happens? What
But
happens?
like, I'm not a supporter of deadbeat dads. Like, dads need to look after their fucking kids. If it's through child support, so be it. But they should be doing it first and foremost in the household by choosing good women, and women should be choosing good men too, obviously. But if you take your time, vet your choices, find someone that matches you, because if you're going to start a family, that's the most important thing in the world, then you should be there. Move to Mexico. I can't condone this. Don't move to Mexico. Can't co-sign that.
Sienna?
How many men do you think get
What
arrested?
happens to
I don't know
men
what the
when they
number
don't
is,
get-
but the
What
idea that
happens
there's
to
like a
men when they
huge number
don't-
of men getting arrested for not doing what they're supposed to do
15%.
and take care of their children, it's not a huge issue.
What happens to men when they don't
Really,
pay child support?
only
You
60%
gotta-
of
hold on,
child
hold on,
support
hold on,
payments
Hannah.
get paid out.
You gotta allow her to interrogate you, not them. You gotta stop yelling questions at her.
You can minimize men's problems all you want, but I don't think you understand how privileged of a position you're in.
In what way? How am I privileged?
Men are the ones that are on the hook.
Pearl's telling her to check her privilege. She's standing up there at a 6'1" instead of in front of an oven. She should check her privilege.
For
Ridiculous.
child support. Men are the ones that are on the hook for alimony. It's easy for you to tell men to just take the risk when you're not in that position.
So are you asserting that men shouldn't pay child
Men-
support following a divorce? Do you believe that women should
feminists
be
wanted-
financially
feminists-
responsible 100% after a
Feminists
divorce?
wanted to be equal. So I say be equal. If you guys want equality, 50-50 custody, no child support, no alimony, no special privileges.
Again, like, situation where child support would be required, in my opinion, is like if you get divorced when the child is under 5, I think the woman should be there like all day. It really only takes about 5-6 years for a child to more or less crystallize their personality and intelligence going forward. Those are the most important years in child rearing, and a woman should be there to do that job, which they are the best suited to do. And that's primarily because of the more nurturing nature of women, and also because they have the equipment, the breasts, to breastfeed for the first year and a half, 2 years. So if it makes much more sense for the woman to be the primary child caregiver for the first 5 years. Now, if they get divorced in that time, obviously she's not going to be able to go out and work because she should be caring full time. I'm not like a big, I feel like these like under 2 daycares and shit, that's some BS in my opinion. Although I know some people have to do it, but it's like, that's unfortunate, but I don't think it's an ideal situation whatsoever. Also, just having 2 parents in the household is very important as well. So that's why you shouldn't be getting divorced if you're having children at all, unless it's absolutely necessary for some insane reason. But yeah, women should be getting child support in those years. Now, after they're 5 or 6 years old, the women can get a job, while the kid's at school, the public school or whatever. Obviously not ideal, but, it is what it is. At that point, maybe you look back at just cutting back the child support payments. But yeah, they should be getting it at that time because they can't do the same thing, 2 things at once. Caring for the child and all this while working. It doesn't work out.
Alimony is paid out in 10%
It doesn't
of
matter if
divorces.
you're part of the
It does matter.
10%.
It does matter because you
It
make it
doesn't matter
seem
if you're
like
part of the
it's a
10%.
widespread issue when
The
it's
tender
only
years
10%.
doctrine is a sexist law against men. That's sexist.
How is it sexist if a
Where have you
woman
guys-
decided
it assumes
to forego a
that-
career, decided to be a stay-at-home mother, and the marriage does
I will just say that this is kind of like a BS talking point from a lot of feminists, like women foregoing a career. Being a home giver is a career. Like being a wife is a job, in my opinion. Like if let's say you're a stay-at-home mom, that is a career, that's a job, and you do get paid for it because you don't have to go to work. It's really that simple, right? It's a lot more fun, to be honest. Probably staying home with the kids and teaching a child how to think, how to learn, how to walk. These are some of the most rewarding and important things you can ever do. Like, you can radically shape the world by just shaping the mind and the soul of the child that you have by being there for them. And like, there are so many feminists and women that discount how important and vital and crucial this role is to the world, as if it's something like unpaid labor. It's not. It's essentially the best job you'll ever have. And a lot of women don't appreciate that, which it does make me a little bit sad about society. But it is part of the propaganda from the feminist machine. So that's a bit unfortunate. But what else would you call it when you have your food, board, clothing, everything is being paid for, if not a job, if not a career?
Doesn't work out. She has no job. She has no income. So you think it's unfair to get support from her ex-husband so she can raise the kids?
60%,
so she can pay.
60% of kids under 5 have daycare. Daycare is an option now. You want it to be men.
Do you know how much daycare?
JMod says, I teach primary school and parents are not teaching their kiddos basic social skills. That's very unfortunate. And I used to work in education myself, and I've seen the very same thing. And I'll tell you, it's a night and day difference between parents that are there for the kids and parents that aren't. And I mean, I've said it before, but quite literally, you can change the entire world by raising your children correctly.
You wanted to be men. Here you
Do you know how
have
much
it.
daycare costs? Do you think it's free?
Let her answer. Let her answer.
I mean, in Minnesota, it costs about, what, $10 billion?
A lot of things are expensive, Anna.
But actually, like jokes aside, I think that the average daycare costs in America are something crazy from between $10,000 to $20,000 a year, which is essentially a minimum wage job. So here's the thing, like, if daycare costs the same as just having a job, wouldn't you just, and you have to go to a job to pay for daycare, wouldn't you just stay home? It's the same difference, but you don't have to worry about what Mr. Steinberg's reports are, like getting them onto his desk on Monday morning or any bullshit like that.
I mean, it's
men. That's not an answer.
Women have 85% of consumer spending. Women spend money all the time. You spend money on hair dye. You spend money on.
This is a somewhat true, but yeah, women do control, I think, like 80 cents of every dollar in spending, and a lot of products and things are towards women in this favor. Like malls, if you go there, like 90% of the shops are focused towards women because they control most of the household dollar, which would show that they are being paid for their homemaking careers. This user 404 with a 5 says, "Don't be a scooper. Hit that goal, chat." Yeah, can we hit the alimony goal? We'll see. We'll be here for a while, so you've got a lot of time to do it. But you know, I appreciate every chatter. Even if you just drop a like, you say hi in chat. That's as long as you do something. If you're just like a lurking in the distance, lurkers are like, they're 3/5 of a person, in my opinion. If you just say one thing in the chat, then I appreciate you. If you just like the stream, I appreciate you. The lurkers count too, but like I said, they're only 3/5 of a regular chatter.
On Botox, you spend money.
You should think about it.
Oh! Shit! You can't just say that, Anna. Wait, let's go back. That's too funny.
That's not an answer.
Women have 85% of consumer spending. Women spend money all the time. You spend money on hair dye. You spend money on Botox. You spend money.
You should think about it. I sure am.
Someone just said bitch in the audience, and Anna says, "I sure am." Holy shit! Let's fucking go! Amazing, incredible.
You spend money.
She's so fucking smug. She's so fucking smug.
All of the time.
Yep.
So you wanted to be men. Here it is. You're equal. Pay for daycare.
Equality means that when you have a child or children, you're both responsible. So the idea that the woman should take 100% of the costs on herself without any help from her husband or ex-husband is ridiculous. How is that fair?
Well, how is it fair that he doesn't get 50-50 custody?
Well, first of all,
I mean, kind of a good point, honestly. I will sing Pearl's praises when she does say something good, and it should be 50-50 in every case, except in cases of domestic abuse. But the statistics are closer than she's making it seem. So the ones that Anna quoted is that 40% of women get full custody, 20% of men get full custody, and 40% get shared custody. That should absolutely be 50-50.
why are you asserting that they don't?
It's 50% his DNA. Why can't he have 50% custody? Where has feminists done?
Let me answer your question, even though I should be interrogating you. I'll answer your question. Massive study out of Massachusetts that looked at 24,000 divorces. In those 25 divorces, they found that in only 8% of cases did men ask for custody. 8%.
Right,
That's interesting. That's actually surprising to me, but I guess there's a lot of deadbeat dads out there.
American can't afford divorce fees, Anna.
But women can afford to raise the children by themselves
divorce.
without support from the ex-husband. How does that make sense?
What did you say? I didn't hear you. We were both talking.
You're complaining about the cost. argue child support in order to raise the children that the former couple had together.
Are you guys equal or not? You want to
Yes,
be equal.
equality means that you're both responsible
50
for raising the children, and that includes the
so
cost
you should have
of raising the
equality,
children.
but not at the expense of men. 50-50 custody, 50-50 child support, no alimony. That's equality. You don't want
Alimony
equality.
makes sense if
You
the
want-
woman was
you
a
want-
stay-at-home mother and doesn't have a source of income. How else would she
No. Wait a second. Like, child support makes sense in it. Like, I don't believe in alimony at all. Like, no situation where I believe in alimony.
take care of the kids? Follow.
Like, if you get fired from your job of being a wife, you should get a severance package. That's the money that was the wedding during the marriage. That's the only money I think it should take. Like, taking like property from before the marriage is some bullshit. Like claiming someone's dog or something. That's some absolute like just retarded stuff. But yeah, that's a severance package, and you've got to find a way to put yourself on your feet in that time. Now, like I said, if it's the under 5 situation, it's child support. That's for the child, not for the mother. So no situations where I agree with Ellen. But child support, yeah, absolutely. There's some cases where it makes sense.
a divorce?
By getting a job just like the men.
So you're saying that a woman who doesn't have recent job history entered the job force and
I mean, that's the problem with any job, though. Like sometimes you go into a field and it does. Sometimes you go get a degree and your complete field is like phased of existence because of new technology. Sometimes it doesn't go anywhere. You don't approve. You don't pursue advancement. But the thing is that married men in particular make more money than single men, and you can argue for the reason why that is, but I think that the case is that when men have something to protect, when some men have something to provide for, when they have a goal, when they have to get up in the morning and provide for people, it makes them work harder. It makes them go put 100% behind their goals and aspirations. And furthermore, like when you have someone supporting you, you can achieve more. It's a synergy effect where the sum of both people than the sum of their parts. When a man doesn't have to worry about, setting up his lunch or washing his clothes or something, women are like, oh, this is so degrading. I have to wash my man's shirts or iron his shirt or something. When he doesn't have to worry about that, he can go out there and earn more money than he ever could have done alone. And then you get the benefit of that. So, yeah, I mean, just make better decisions in life.
I should say, and easily get hired. Do you care about the children or not? Because you're making this about like the poor husband, the poor ex-husband who doesn't want to support, doesn't want, to take on any of the responsibilities of having children in the first place. You seem to have a problem with men carrying out their responsibilities. But when it comes to
men are dying about their responsibilities. Men are fighting to be about their kids' lives.
What's the empirical?
I mean, the stats that she owns, she said was like only what 8% of men were for full custody. So it seems that there are a lot of deadbeat guys out there, and this is true. Want to hit it and quit it, and sometimes they use the pull-out game, and it's not so hot, and then they regret it, and that's a tragedy. And they should be responsible for those kids.
Data on that.
Don't need data. How many people in here have had a family or a friend fight for their kid and not be able to get it? The reason that this happens, Anna, is because lawyers tell them not to fight because it's so expensive and they won't win.
So it's the lawyers. I knew that they were responsible for everything wrong in the world, based on my own observations.
What is that based on?
Some I assume are good people.
You have to provide, look, I am open to be convinced, but I need more than anecdotes. I need more than vibes and feelings.
Oh, she doesn't pass the
Because we're
vibe
talking
check. She's not vibing, chat.
about something serious here. We're talking about raising children. We're talking about the shared responsibility of raising children. That, of course, includes
90%
the cost.
of disputed custody goes to women. That's not equal.
I mean, she's just posting the fact that Anna's already disproven. It's not 90%. It's 40% full custody, 20% for men, and 40% shared.
90%. That's a totally made-up statistic. Where are you citing that from?
I made it the fuck up.
All right, let's take a break there because our time actually ran up. Those opening interrogations are over. Let's take a moment here.
The stress sighs. You know what? You know you're not having a good time when you have to start stress sighing.
You guys want to grab a sip of water? All right. The next step is going to be 30 minutes. We're going to open it up.
Is that disputed custody?
Again, open debate.
Okay, to be fair. All right. To be fair, disputation. Okay, we'll go for that. But again, it is still a little bit of a sneaky statistic that makes you think that it's like women are winning 9 times out of 10 on everything.
I'd remind you guys, I know everyone's passionate about this. I get that. But we can't have multiple people debating at the same time, right? We got one debater here. We got one debater here. Let's keep it here. All right? Let's put 30 minutes on the clock. And let's begin the open debate. Pearl, I'll let you pick up here. Go ahead.
All right,
What
Pearl's
happens
chance.
to men when they don't pay child support?
There are consequences for it, especially when
Which
there's a
are?
court order for them to
Which
carry
are?
out their responsibility and pay child support so that child can be raised.
Well, there's a country you can go if you don't want to pay child support.
And what happens
Do you
if they
think
don't
there
pay
shouldn't
it?
be legal responsibilities or legal consequences if they fail to carry out a court order to, take care of their kids?
I've interviewed men that have paid millions of dollars in
Don't
child
care about your
support and
interviews.
they're-
Anecdotal evidence doesn't matter. What I need
Maybe she should be interviewing men to find a husband.
is actual statistic, empirical evidence. They should pay their child support. $441
What happens-
is the average child support payment. $441 a month.
Yeah, that's for someone that makes $24,000 a year.
You just told me a woman can just go to work and take care of the kids totally by herself.
How does a guy live when he's paying $500 a month on $24,000 a year?
You think $500 a month is too much in child support? Do you know how much it costs to raise a child? Do you know
Look-
how much childcare costs, for instance?
I mean, like I said, it's about $8 billion in Minnesota or something. Tracker Rob with a $5 towards their stream child support says, Nick Recator told me I could try and get custody of my kids. I actually don't think he said that, but nice little reference.
Mother has to go to work, right? Where's the kid going to stay while that mother is working? How is she going to pay for the
What happens to men when they don't
daycare?
pay child support?
Sorry, say that again.
What happens to men when they don't pay child support?
There are legal repercussions for not
What-
carrying out a court
Okay.
mandate
Do you think that
to do something.
Do you think that fraud should be illegal?
Absolutely.
Okay. So why is it not illegal for women to fraud men on paternity? If a man does not find out he's the father over the age of 2, he is on the hook for child support for 18 years.
I don't
I mean,
know.
that is some bullshit, but I think this is an incredibly rare case. But yeah, I think absolutely. If you find out that you're not the biological father, you should have no financial responsibilities. This is just insane. And I've seen there of course there are some like insane women out there that try and like claim child support from like their neighbors or something that were babysitting. Like you see these like odd stories on Reddit from time to time, things like that, or popping up on like people that just they reshare things from different forms and things like that. That's absolutely bullshit. It shouldn't exist. I don't think anyone argues that it should. But these are kind of like miscarriages of justice. And primarily not the rule in these cases. Nick Lai says alimony is tax-free, bish. That's true, right? Is it or child support's tax-free? Is alimony too? That'd be kind of crazy. That's an insanely good deal.
Where
what
have
the
you
law
been on this
is when it
issue?
comes to
A
that.
third-
But it's wrong. If you're lying about paternity, that is wrong, and there should be legal
Well,
consequences
why
for
haven't
that.
feminists fought?
It's that simple.
Then why aren't feminists fighting for it, Anna?
Because feminists fight for women, obviously.
Right. That's my point.
Yeah.
At the expense of men.
I mean, advocating for your own position doesn't necessarily mean that you're advocating against someone else's. It just means that you're trying to get what's yours or what you want for. It makes perfect sense. Like, men don't like go out and advocate for women getting like free tampons and shit as well. Like nobody complains about that.
You guys want to believe women at the expense of men. Why isn't Amber Heard in jail? Because of
What?
the Me Too movement. You guys push believing all rape victims, and now we have rape.
Amber
and now
Heard had to pay out a
Johnny-
massive
Let her
settlement.
continue her statement.
Yeah, but why isn't she in jail?
You want her in jail?
What?
Yes.
People don't typically go to jail for defamation, but okay. I mean, Amber Heard, like, yeah, she got away with it for a while because of the Me Too movement, but then it was exposed. Her career was destroyed. She was fired from projects, and now she's a laughing stock, and she's millions of dollars pledged in debt. So I don't think things worked out for Amber Heard. Now, was that because Johnny actually decided to fight it, and because he was so popular, and because he has such a large reach? Maybe. But like, Amber Heard did not really get away with it in the end. In fact, her life is pretty sad these days.
Well,
He ruined
the
his
penalties
life.
for defamation are what the court's decision is, right? You want people to go to prison for defamation?
He had to go to 2 different countries to clear his name. Why
okay.
isn't she in jail? He lost millions of dollars.
To be clear, you think the penalty for defamation is prison time?
I think the penalty for a false accusation is that the woman should get the same time that he would have gotten if he was found guilty.
Men don't go to prison for defamation.
She got him. The audience was on Pearl's side for a second there, but then she got that quick jab in. That was a good point.
And see, this is the problem with feminists. You want all these freedoms, but you won't actually be equal.
I do
Be
want
equal.
equality.
No, if you wanted to be equal, you would fight for 50-50 child support, no alimony.
No alimony. So again, if a woman decided to forego working, decided to stay home to raise the children, and the marriage doesn't work out, she's got no income whatsoever, she doesn't
Well,
deserve
number
any
one, women aren't
alimony.
even doing that.
But I mean, the same thing happens when like you get fired or redundant from a job. Like you could be working in a company for 20 years, doing the same thing, like I don't know, pushing spreadsheets around. Your job gets replaced by AI, you get fired or whatever. You get a severance package, hopefully, and then you've got no experience in this new world. That the same thing happens to men. Now, again, we already mentioned that at the beginning of this, that I think that like anything that's accrued during the marriage, like if it's a man as the sole provider and the woman is stay at home, then she is supporting the man. She is working as the home care or whatever. She is entitled to, I believe, 50% of anything accrued during the marriage. But from the point where the marriage ends, she should be entitled to nothing else, provided there's not like child support payments. I think that's fairly simple. And if she was married to such a deadbeat dude that there was no money from the divorce, or that she decided to choose the most divorce raping lawyers possible, and all the money went to the fees, then that's a skill issue. She should have played better. She should have found a better man to get married to.
Number one, that's not even women are not staying home with the kids. And number two, you have daycare.
A lot of women do these days,
you
actually.
have daycare.
Does Pearl realize that men can get alimony too? I think alimony is wrong in any case. Now, it is very funny. There are some very successful female movie stars that are having to pay alimony to men. That is very funny. I don't think those men should be getting it, but it is kind of a chuckle, I will say.
Traditional women who want to stay home, they want to be traditional wives, and you trash them all the time, which I don't understand.
If
It seems like
cared
women
about
can't do anything
equality,
right when it comes to you.
I mean, she trashes them all the time as it's sour grapes. It should have been me. Always a bridesmaid, never a bride. That's the Pearl's problem, really.
Right?
If
They're
feminists-
stay-at-home moms. They're traditional.
I understand that you can personally attack me.
I'm not personally attacking you.
Okay.
These are things that you have said on the record multiple times.
But if you cared about equality, you would care about false accusations.
I do care about false accusations.
No, you
yep.
don't.
You don't know me. You don't know what I care about.
You don't know me, bitch. I mean, like I said, I wasn't much of an Anna Kasparian fan going into this, although I do think she has good taste in LawTubers, but I'm becoming more interested in her. I think like she has a lot of potential and she needs to be removing herself from the Young Turks. I feel like chunk yogurt is weighing her down, and she could set it on her own and actually be quite successful. She's putting on a pretty good show today, honestly, like quite good.
Look, all right, let's talk about rights that men do not have. Men do not have the right to be enlisted in selective service. You know, we have 125K men who were drafted and buried overseas. Think about that over a second. You talk about the oppressions of the past, but how
Are you saying that women should only marry rich men? If so, they divorce, there's enough to split 50-50, she can afford to live in whatever job she can get at 50 or 60? No, that's not what I said at all. But you shouldn't be marrying deadbeat losers. And I'm not saying that you should be able to live forever on that, but you should have enough accrued during that time that you can support yourself for however long. Because you're making the assumption, like, if someone gets married at 20, two broke kids get married at 20. Obviously, they're adults and not kids, but whatever. They're married for 5 years. That's unfortunate, but you don't really lose that much. If you're married from 20 to 50, you should be almost at retirement age. If you haven't accrued the requisite requirement money by that time, you did marry a loser. Frankly, that's the way it is. I mean, there are lots of different, like, I don't want to say loser too much because there are a lot of different problems people have in life, and sometimes you have a bad draw and things like that. Like, luck is a very strong part of life, but what have you been doing during this time? And women shouldn't necessarily be homemakers forever anyway. It's not like the idea that they're like 50 or 60 and they've done nothing with themselves, unless they were literally pregnant the entire time, which doesn't make sense because after 40 they probably aren't getting pregnant anyway. Like, they should go back into the workforce or be developing some sort of stay-at-home job that they can do. Like, that's, I think, one thing that women don't really think about a lot is that because a lot of women want to focus on their careers, but they also want to have a family. The best way to do that, in my opinion, is to be supported by your husband during the child-rearing years. But during that time, you can develop a personal skill like art or entertainment or something like that you can do from home, or like just some Etsy shit or something like that. There's lots of different options. You should be developing that after the children are no longer your primary concern. Like, it doesn't take that long to clean a house, to be honest. Takes like maybe an hour a day. If you've got like more kids, obviously it's going to take longer. I'm not going to say it doesn't take like, maybe. But if kids are spending half their day or like from 9 to 5 at school or high school or whatever, and obviously it's 9 to 3, but you know what I mean, then what is a woman doing during that time? And they should be going back to the workforce and being prepared. If they just sit around watching talk shows all day, cleaning for 1 hour a day while the kids are at school, then that's kind of a fault of the woman. But it goes both ways. And yeah, a lot of people are marrying deadbeats. A lot of people are investing in the future of someone that has no future because they're lazy, and they don't want to take responsibility for that.
How many men died in World War I and World War II and had no choice?
Well, what's in it for men to get married when they face alimony, child support, and the risk of 15 to 30% of children might not even be theirs? Well, first of all, the 15 to 30% of children not being theirs, that statistic is based off of the people that are already suspicious. What's in it for men? Men get a lot from marriage. First of all, you get to be a father. I mean, you don't have to be married to be a father, but ideally you should be. So you get to be the head of the household. You get to be providing and preparing your progeny for the future. You get the support of a loving family. The wife should be, taking care of you. Men that are married live longer because men take a lot of stupid risks and don't look after themselves, and women actually do improve their lives. Like, men are the kind of people that'll get like a giant boil or something on their shoulder that's like purple or some shit, and they'll be just like, oh, it'll be fine. Women are the ones that actually push men to like go to the doctor and get it checked out, and then they get it's skin cancer. Oh, there you go, we just saved your life. Women extend the life of men in a proper marriage where they care for each other.
And yet Anna complains about oppression. Men do not have the right to face their accuser in court when they have a false allegation and for personal protection orders that strips constitutional rights away from the man. Women go before a judge and say they don't feel safe, and more than likely a PP order will be issued. The man was not in court, had no say, has no defense, and does not get to face his accuser. That is done en masse, and many servicemen and first responders lose their careers over this because it strips a man's Second Amendment rights away based on no evidence. Men do not have the right to raise their children. Divorce is no fault, but when it comes to child custody, it's always the man's fault. He loses his children to the system. 96 hours a month the father does not make. Men have longer prison sentences. Women get a third of the time for the same crime. Where are the feminists?
That rhymes, it's true, but this is true that women do get easier, legal consequences. They're often forgiven. They start crying on a traffic stop, something like. Women do need to be taking responsibility for their actions, and I think this is men's fault as well. Men do need to be more strict on women when they like if you just look at the recent shooting in Minnesota, that is a result of men not being strict on women when they have these mistakes, and this is unfair, and it should be changed.
Fighting for equality on that issue. There has been rampant discrimination against better qualified men in hiring across multiple industries. Men pay more child support, and child support orders are not enforced at the same rates between men and women.
It's because women just don't have as much income as men. Men are usually the primary providers, as it should be, as nature intended.
Are more likely
women pay
not
child
to
support.
pay
Fascinating.
and are prosecuted for non-payment at lower rates. Men cannot opt out of parenthood. Men have very few domestic violence shelters and are not taken seriously when they're domestic violence victims.
I agree on that.
White men in particular are discriminated against when it comes to hiring and educational attainment.
True.
The Duluth model is a model that law enforcement, courts, and counselors use automatically that assumes men are the aggressor. The tender years doctrine is a guideline in divorce used to justify removing the father from the child's life. The only institutional sexism that exists is institutional sexism that discriminates against men in favor of women. Furthermore, U.S. courts do not require receipts to show how that money is spent by the custodial parent unless there's overwhelming evidence of starvation, malnutrition, or severe child abuse.
I think this part of Pearl's argument is pretty good. She's reading it from a paper, that's the problem. If she had memorized this, it would have been a very strong point. And Pearl does make a few good points in this argument. I'm not going to pretend that she doesn't. But this part here is doing very well, again, but just reading from the paper, what's the point? Why are you standing up there talking if you're just reading from the paper? They could just get a robot voice to do this. It'd be the same thing. You need to memorize these facts. It's just one of these little details that is very important. You should be practicing before debates. You should be practicing before speeches. It looks unprofessional, and it makes it seem more insincere as well. But the actual thing that she's saying, the content, it's pretty good so far.
Hold on, pause. You want the government to check receipts and see,
Let's let her respond to some of that.
Hold on, let's understand something. You want government to be so big that you literally have the government looking at receipts.
Anna Kasparian seems to have memorized the facts. That's all I'm saying.
To see what a mother is spending the money on? That's insane.
No, I don't think that's unreasonable. It's a fairly easy thing to process. Like you can just say like just post receipts. Like literally we get receipts for that reason. And it's even easier to prove in the digital age where a lot of transactions are just not even cash based. They're like through debit, credit, or whatever you have. FPOS, I guess it's called where I'm from. I guess they don't really call it anywhere else. Maybe in the UK they use that. But you know, essentially it's direct debit. No, it's pretty simple. Like if you're getting child support payments, they should match what the child's costs and needs are. And it should be very easy to verify. If you find the case that you're getting $500 a month for child support payments and you're spending $250 on the child and $250 on new shoes, the woman should be called out for it. Simple as.
No child support, no alimony, 50-50.
Yeah, have a separate, like it's super easy. You can just have the separate account on your same card or just under your same bank account, child related stuff. And then you can easily audit it. And frankly, the man should see where his money is going. If you're a man and you're like separated from your child and you're paying child support payment, maybe you are concerned about what food your child's been given. Is she buying great value shrimp or is she getting like, you know, proper vegetables or some shit, you know, whatever you need for your kid? A man should know and has a right to know what is being given to his child and what his money is going towards. Absolutely. Why not? It's not that hard. Like an IOLTA account. Yeah, exactly.
You're crazy and you don't live in reality.
I want equality.
Well, I mean, this is kind of true. Pearl is crazy and she doesn't live in reality. She lives in the nano cryptosphere. All right, go back a little bit.
Looking at receipts to see what a mother is spending the money on? That's insane.
I want no
disagree.
child support, no alimony, 50-50.
Yeah, because you're crazy and you don't live in reality.
I want equality. I'm more of a feminist than you, Anna. Because I say if you want to vote, be in selective service. Be on the front lines just like the men are.
Who do you think gives birth to and raises those soldiers?
What does that have to do with anything?
I mean, well, not Pearl, that's for sure.
Because you
I mean, I think Anna doesn't have any children either, and she's not interested in kids. She is a career woman, but that's my only criticism of Anna is that she should have reproduced.
that women shouldn't be allowed to vote because they're not all in mandatory military service.
I think mandatory military service is pretty bullshit, but it's kind of like a holdover from the past, and it hasn't really affected any man going like since the Vietnam War. I think that like having everyone have the vote is not necessarily a good thing, though. I will say, maybe only net taxpayers should be able to vote. That seems like the most reasonable thing to me. I mean, in America, like the first taxpayers were all just like white men that owned land, right? I don't see why, if you're taking money out of the economy, you should be able to vote. Like that should be like something you should earn, right? If you want to have a say in the way that things are working, if you want to better the society, then I think you should just be a net taxpayer, and that could be for both men and women. I mean, it seems like land. I wouldn't necessarily say landowners, because owning land. I mean, maybe you're just saying that landowners like were in the past, but like you can have very high productive earners that aren't owning land. In many ways, land isn't always a great investment, although I think that most people would be better with if they had some land. And that's kind of like, I think the goal for many people is to have a piece of their own land to like settle down. But like there's a lot of high finance earners and businessmen that rent specifically because all their money is tied up in investments to make more money anyway. Like investing in land is not always a great investment. It's a good investment. It's like a very slow return on that, a lot of stuff, which you could be using for a lot of liquid capital. But definitely net taxpayers, I think. I would absolutely agree with.
I say be equal. You want to vote, do what the men do. Men are fined
Should women be included in combat?
Men
Should women be included in combat?
Yes.
Okay.
Do what the men do.
Fair.
Do what the men do.
Yeah, fair. Agreed. Next.
Okay.
Next.
The Pearl's in a tricky situation here because she wants to at the same time say that everything should be equal, but then she knows that you don't want to have women on the front lines. That's just ridiculous. If you can't carry your fellow combatant, then you should not be in the military, full stop. Now, maybe advancing robotics and stuff and like exoskeletons and things, maybe in the future, but we're not there yet.
Nothing? Okay. I want to know what your ideal woman is, because if you are a traditional conservative woman who's married, staying at home, raising kids, you trash them.
There's no such thing as a traditional woman. They cannot be traditional in 2025 because women will always have the leverage.
What does that mean? What does it mean that women will always have the leverage?
They got that pussy pass. Obviously, that's what she means. Like, what do you mean there's no traditional women left? This is just like absolute cope. This is just doom black pill cope. Oh, women are shit. Women ain't shit. Like, there are some great women out there. Now, you have to look for them? Absolutely. But at the same token, there are a lot of shit men out there that women need to sift through as well.
Women have child support to fall back on. Women have alimony. So automatically,
10% of divorces end with
does-
alimony settlements.
and
10%.
and they go.
You just ignore the stats.
They
You
go
just move
from
on.
men to women. They go from men to women. Billions of dollars every
I thought
year.
you said earlier that
billions
women
of
are paying
dollars of-
alimony.
Billions of dollars of wealth every year is transferred from men to women.
We all know that women are the most affected in wartime, not the guys running into the meat grinder. Isn't this a Hillary Clinton cope? That women are like the most affected by war because like when the men are dead, they can't complain anymore or they can't feel anymore. The women have to deal with the sadness or some shit going forward. I think that's what you're referencing. If not, then it's kind of still funny.
Through
Based on what? Where are you
through
getting that
family
information
court.
from? You're just making it up?
Look, we have
I
a
made it the
website.
fuck
We
up.
can get it to you at the end.
Trust me,
You didn't want
bro.
to submit. Where are your sources? You didn't want to submit them ahead of time. You did.
The Census Bureau, Bureau of Labor Statistics.
Oh,
I
no.
cited everything I mentioned.
Oh no, you can't be coming in here with facts and logic and sources, Anna. This is an informal internet debate where we just say whatever we want and people just say true in the chat. What are you expecting? Accountability? Oh, this is such a disaster. This is almost a career-ending disaster for Pearl, honestly. It's like, even if she is right on some points, and she has said some true things, this just is the optics. It's just not good. It's just not good.
Pearl, the main thing I want people to understand, okay? Pearl's gonna trash women no matter what. That's fine.
I'm not trashing.
But
them.
my biggest gripe with you is you're discouraging people from entering marriages.
I don't tell men what to do. Sell me on.
You
okay,
advise
Anna,
men to avoid marriage.
Sell me on marriage. What do men get out of marriage?
That's sad. It's sad that people think that. It really is.
I mean, this is true. I agree with Anna on this point. Like, absolutely. There's this idea that marriage ain't worth it these days, and that's not the case. The most successful men, the happiest men, are typically in marriages. And it's like I said, it's because when you have that support, when you have this team that's working together, you can accomplish more than you ever could by yourself.
You get a partner, you get a teammate, you get to build a life together, and it's beautiful. I feel like misery loves company in this situation.
She's lonely! Woo.
And how would you know what you get out of marriage if you haven't experienced marriage in the first place? I'm not saying that as a personal attack.
She absolutely is. She's eggless. She's got no boyfriend. Well, actually, she does have a boyfriend, but she has no husband. She has no ring. Oh, look, she's sad. She's hurt. She's hurt. Look at her. All around me are familiar faces, worn out faces. Oh, this is sad. This is like The Simpsons, like, stop, she's already dead.
I really hope that Pearl meets the love of her life and gets married. It's not about that. But you trash it without really understanding what the benefits are.
Why do we have phrases like it's cheaper to keep her?
Pearl,
Well, I mean, it rhymes, so it has to be true, right? Oh, dear, dear, dear. It's cheaper to keep her. I mean, that's true, though. Like, do you know how much dating costs? I mean, not even counting, like, divorce costs and, like, the rape that lawyers do against, that, like, they get all your money and stuff. Like, it is just true that, like, men waste so much money going out and trying to date. It is cheaper to be in a relationship because you start shopping together and like cooking meals at home and stuff like that. I mean, there's so many reasons why this is true, but it's just funny because it rhymes. Like, it's just like, well, it's cheaper to keep her. Well, I mean, facts, case closed. For case closed, it rhymes. I mean, I do love things that rhyme though. So
Answer the question.
divorce is expensive. And by the way, on purpose, to discourage people from getting divorced in the first place.
I mean, I wouldn't say that it's on purpose, but good. There should be a penalty for getting divorced. I think. Like, again, not in cases where there is kids involved. If it's just two people, maybe they like annulment or something is the answer. But like, yeah, if you make this big event of getting married and having a family, there should be a societal consequence. And even if it's just shame, it doesn't have to be lawyers financially graping your wallet. It could be anything, but like certainly shame, I think, is one thing that's lacking from society. And there's almost like, I think this is one of the worst things in society is actually how much people like applaud. Like, you're going to dump him, you should go do your own thing. Like that sort of stuff. That is bullshit in society. And it shouldn't, you should like, oh, you got divorced? What are you, a loser? Like that should be the standing quo, I think. The status quo.
Why do we have phrases like happy wife, happy life?
Because it's true. Same with happy husband, happy life. I'm home to an
I mean,
angry
that
husband.
doesn't rhyme though. I mean, it is true that if your spouse is happier, then it'll reflect in you. But this is a virtuous circle of if you put good into the world. I mean, you can call it karma, you can call it whatever. But like the fact of the matter is that provided you're not married to like a bitch, and this goes for men as well. I'm not just talking about women here, but like if you support your partner. If you tell them that they look attractive, if you tell them like good job today, those little details, they go a long way, and they subconsciously leak into the mind and they make you and each other happier. So it's just a good thing to do. Like say something nice about your partner every day is what you should do. It does have an effect. Insert slogan to prove point here. Pearl. I mean, you can probably find like what happy spouse, happy house. That's like a gender neutral one. There you go. It affects both men and women. But like, even though these things just rhyme, there is a lot of truth to them. Yeah. If you make one happier that you're going to be seeing every fucking day for the rest of your life, it's going to pay dividends down the line. And remember what they say on The Simpsons that, actually, what is the one where like, Homer tells Bart, he's like, I don't know about women, but one thing I do know is that they're compliment eating goblins that can't get enough or something. And they're just like, Marge and Lisa walk in, and it's like, did somebody better call heaven? An angel's missing. It just is effective. It just works. Just say nice things about your partner, and you'll have a better time.
That's not a phrase.
Do you have any other catchphrase or slogan you want to throw at me?
What do men get out of marriage?
They get
That gains 25 pounds in the first 5 years.
they get pretty fat too. I don't know if you've done a comparative analysis on that. They
They're
actually end
fat.
up gaining more weight than their wives do. And who cares?
Men.
I mean, have a conversation with your partner. Encourage her.
How
Be an
can
adult.
A lot of women, yeah, people gain weight in relationships. That's true. But I mean, a lot of that is pregnancy as well. I think that people should take care of themselves and encourage their partner to do so, though. You will be healthier and happier. I mean, right now I did gain a bit of extra weight, but I'm working on it, okay? I'm working on it, chat. It's just 2 more weeks. Trust the plan, and I'm going to be very trim again.
How can men and women be equal?
Especially if she's
How
giving you
can men
children.
and women be equal when one is expected to die for the other?
What?
I don't expect anyone to die for anyone else.
I mean, like, this is a weird thing to say. I mean, if you love someone, you might throw down your life for them on the line, like in a, like, I don't know, like movie situation where the water's filling up and you have to go behind the door and close the bulkhead or something. But like, I think it's natural that parents should want to, like, not want to, but like would be willing to die for their kids at any time. Absolutely. But I'm not sure exactly what Pearl's talking here. It just seems like retarded what she's saying.
I don't know what that even comes
Yeah,
from.
but men are willing to die for you every day. The men in the police force, the men in the military.
What about the women in the police force?
I mean, you're not necessarily married to a policeman, though. Men do more dangerous jobs, yes, but those more dangerous jobs typically have a more lucrative reward.
They're 10%, and they cause so
So
many
what?
problems.
Who cares what percentage women make up of the police force?
Yeah,
They're in
but
the
they
police
can't-
force.
they
My
can't-
sister-in-law's a cop, actually.
They can't do the same jobs. There's videos on the
should
internet
see my
everywhere of
sister-in-law.
women getting their guns taken because they're not strong enough.
Are you just making things up?
I mean, I do think there is a problem with certain, what is it called? Affirmative action hiring processes where they're hiring incompetent people. I absolutely think that you should only hire people for a job if they meet the physical and mental requirements. And this means like you shouldn't be having a 50-pound woman working, well, 50 pounds would be like 25 kilos, right? A 100-pound woman working as a firefighter, for example. If she can't pick up a fat man that's burning in his couch, then she shouldn't be a firefighter. It's simple as. Now, there are different roles that you could have. Like in the police force, there is room for female police officers in certain, like dealing with like domestic violence. You usually want to have like a woman police officer working with the women and things like that. But I think she's just making up shit now. Has a woman ever had her gun taken from her? Probably. But I mean, it's a little bit of a silly thing to say, isn't it?
Pearl, what are you doing? Like, seriously.
What are you doing, Pearl?
What
are you doing?
They can't do the same jobs.
Amophobia will not be accepted. Amophobia? Is this... Am I misreading this? What is amophobia? Is it the fear of bullets? Sure, I feel like this cannot be about, but what is amophobia? Let me just look this up real quick. Amophobia. Phobia. What is this? Irrational fear of sand. Oh, okay. Why is sand ammo? What? How does that make sense? I'm not afraid of sand. That is so fucking funny though. I'm not afraid. I love sand. I love. I went to the sand museum because I love it so much. $3 is an interesting tip too. People are usually either 5 or 2, but I enjoy the interesting numbers. I think, did YouTube remove the ability to put in custom amounts? Because too many people were sending in those $14.80 something cents chats. That was a big problem a long time ago. Squeaky sand is beautiful though. Like, this is unironically true, chat. Have you ever seen squeaky sand? It's only from the finest, most perfect sand. You get it in Australia, but apparently in other countries as well. But no one in New Zealand knows about squeaky sand. It's because of the fine quartz grains that makes the Australian squeaky sand so fun. And the funny thing is about it, it's so fucking hot that you have to run on it. So it makes the squeaky sand like rit, 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 rit. Let me see if I can find a squeaky sand video while we listen to them. This cat fight.
Police force.
Yeah,
They're in the
they
police
can't-
force.
they
My
can't-
sister-in-law's a cop, actually.
They can't do the same jobs. There's videos on the internet
see my
everywhere of
sister-in-law.
women getting their guns taken because they're not strong enough.
Are you just making things up? Pearl, what are you doing? Like, seriously.
All right, here we go. I found this video. Maybe I should have made this video. Very loud sand. Are you ready, chat, for the very loud sand? Yeah, this is true.
Have you ever noticed that sometimes on some beaches, the sand squeaks?
Yes, I have noticed
This
this.
is Misery Beach in Albany, Western Australia.
Why is it called Misery Beach? It looks lovely.
But you can hear similar sand phenomena all over the world. To get it to work, you need to be up here on the dry stuff, and
Yeah.
you need to scuff your feet just right.
There's a technique. There's a method to the madness, chat. Okay, so there you go. It's proven. That's true. They can't edit those sound effects in post. It's a true and real video. Suffer Misery Beach. Australia has some really funny place names. I did a video about it once, but I think my favorite one is there was a beach called Shark Bay, and they renamed it to Safety Beach or some shit. I'm not even joking. They're just like, when there's too many shark attacks and nobody's coming here, let's rename the base to Safety Bay. And that was their massive rebrand. Oh, let's go to Safety Bay. That sounds great. I'll have to show you this sometimes, but anyway, let's continue. Back to
Next
the
question.
sand and vaginas that Pearl has. Dead air? Hello?
Do you
Pearl!
realize how good you have it in this country?
I gotta go back because I was confused. I thought the video was paused.
Pearl, what are you doing? Like, seriously.
What are you doing,
Next
Pearl?
question.
This is a long fucking pause. The timer's just ticking down, Pearl.
Do you realize how good you have it in this country?
Absolutely. Best country in the world.
Oh, she's a patriot. Oh, that's hilarious. This is too funny. Zombie Licorice with a 10 says, Pearl managed to just beat out Nick Fuentes as the embodiment of why would anyone listen to this person? Immature, stupid, not well spoken, not very attractive, not original, not funny. Yeah, like the only reason she exists is that she parroted Andrew Tate's talking points, and she's basically the housewoman. You know, like in the past they had the house something or others. She just says all of the manosphere talking points, but it's coming from a woman, so she's based. She says the same thing we do, chat. That's literally her entire career. It's really funny too, because she has I think her family is really successful. She's got like a really rich family, and it's kind of bizarre to see her outside of the manosphere talkings. Like there's like a photo of her with her whole family, and they're all like a very successful family, and like she's kind of like the black sheep or whatever. But now she's just she's doing her thing. She's got a boyfriend, but she's not marrying him for some reason.
And you get to live the life you live at the expense of men.
No, that's not true.
That is true.
Show me how.
Do you know how many men die every year? Just to...
No, she's malfunctioning. Do you know how many men they put into the food grinder to feed you in particular, Anna Kasparian? Okay, what do you mean by that?
There are men that die every year to get you crab.
How many women die every year during childbirth?
Not many.
This country has the highest maternal mortality rate of any developed country, so a lot of women do die as a
Is that
result
true?
of pregnancy and childbirth, yes.
All right, so the argument is how many women die of childbirth versus how many men die collecting crabs every year. I mean, I don't know if Anna Kasparian even enjoys crabs. I mean, it's a dangerous. I mean, crab fishing is a very dangerous profession, but men choose to do that. Nobody needs to eat crab. You're not entitled to fucking crab. But I'm curious, how many crab fishermen die per year? How many crab fishermen die a year? Approximately. Wait, that's per 100,000 workers. What is the number? I don't want the per capita. I want the fucking thing. There's under one. Wait. Crab fishing, especially in Alaska, remains extremely dangerous, but safety has improved dramatically. Historically, it saw over 300 deaths per 100,000 workers, but recent decades, due to better regulations like stability checks, show average dropping to significantly with figures of 1 death per year or under 1 death per year. In the Bering Sea Fleet in recent years, although overall commercial fishing still averages around 30 to 50 deaths annually in the US. Okay, so all fishing is 30 to 50 deaths per year, and approximately, 6,000 women die in childbirth a year, which is pretty high. I mean, I guess that's pretty high for a number, but like over 300 million people, I guess it's fairly insignificant. But I mean, if it's the highest in the developed world, that is pretty bad. But what about those crabs? What about the crabs, Anna? Tell me about the crabs. She's playing to the Deadliest. I love the Deadliest Catch. It's such a good show. I haven't seen it in many years, though.
This is painful, man.
Infant mortality is tallied radically different. We're not talking about infant mortality, though. We're talking about maternal fertility, death during childbirth, of the woman, not the child. What does this have to do with the debate? Crabs.
Do you have any other questions for me?
It's crab maxing.
Not right now.
All right.
There's 15 minutes on the clock.
Should I move on? Like, what are we doing now?
Can I ask a couple questions?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, let's just jump in here.
This is so entertaining.
Why don't we do this? I'll ask you one and then I'll ask you one. And we'll kind of go
We got to see more. We need more. This is like blood sports on an open stage. It's amazing. I'm loving this.
back and forth. I kind of half jokingly said at the beginning, like Pearl had mentioned, I think you actually said it here too, that you believe you may be more of a feminist. Do you consider yourself to be a feminist, and how would you define that?
I don't consider myself to be a feminist, mainly
Based.
because it's a loaded word, and there are certain outcomes from certain waves of feminism that I don't agree with, particularly minimizing the importance.
They say that child mortality rate is high, but they never tell you who or why or are why. I mean, is it the black community? Is that the answer? I generally don't know. I'm asking. If you know, the GM, please tell me what you mean by this. Like, I would assume it is from those communities, though. A lot of miscarriages probably as well, from unprotected sex that they should not be having outside of wedlock because it's immoral.
Of men in society. I do think that there
older
is,
women.
you know,
I don't know if this is true. I think there's a lot of pregnancy complications with older women, but that's more for the child. I don't think that the older women are dying in childbirth as much. And I want to say this. I don't know. I'm just making this the fuck up. But I would assume that older women having children are probably better off financially and probably have better healthcare. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that the people dying in childbirth are probably very poor and very obese. But I don't know.
especially the third wave of feminism that's done that. I personally really value masculine men, and I don't appreciate feminists speaking on behalf of all women in regard to what women prefer. I think the Me Too movement started off as a legitimate grievance with women who were legitimately abused, and it devolved into something laughable and ridiculous.
This is unironically incredibly base what she's saying. Like I said, like first wave feminism had a lot of points. They had a lot of good things on there, but the second wave and third wave were like laughing stocks. Is Anna actually like a crypto Chad? I mean, a crypto based bro? Like, what's going on here? I'm confused. My entire worldview is being turned upside down.
Especially when, you know, someone like Aziz Ansari gets accused of being like some sort of sexual predator when he clearly wasn't.
That was the comedian. He was just cringe, and he had a date, and this is from the Me Too movement. It's an old reference, but I mean, it's good to bring up names.
I just don't like how loaded that word is. What I actually genuinely want.
Anna's been coming around. Has she been watching too much Potentially Criminal? Is this the problem? Because if you guys are unaware of this fact, during the Rekieta, like the heyday of Rekieta saga, when it was like the top news and everything, Anna went on the, Adam and Sitch podcast, and they asked her if she's been following the Rekieta drama, and she said yes, and that she watches Potentially Criminal. Sean, the sandwich man. So maybe she's been watching too many model making streams or too many like Thursday crime night, and he's been slowly red pilling her or something. It's kind of crazy, but she does watch, or she did watch at least, potentially Criminal Sean. Very, very cool little reference.
Is equality among the sexes. I'm not looking for women to have an upper hand over men at all. But we need to be based in reality, and we need to look at the statistics and figure out what's really going on. If men are getting a raw deal as a result of divorces, then yeah, the laws need to change. And I genuinely thought prior to this debate that they were getting the raw end of the deal. But as I researched this, I realized I was believing in outdated myths. So, yeah.
This is one thing, though, that a lot of these people that are grifters, they kind of repeat the same talking points from like 20 years ago, and they just don't update their research at all. I mean, even when Pearl at the beginning of this debate, she said, like, you've been in show business for, what, 15 years? And then she's like, no, it was 20 years. They've just been looking at, like, old statistics. You see this a lot of YouTube like video essays as well, where they're like trying to point or prove some sort of point, and then they're like look at the Tokyo stuff, like saying that Tokyo, you go to Kabukicho, you're going to get like drugged immediately or something. A lot of those stories are from 10 years ago that simply is incredibly rare these days.
Pearl, let me ask you this. Do you believe and obviously you are citing a lot of anecdotal stories. I do think it's fair to point out every anecdotal story is someone's story, right? So they're not fake stories and they're not meaningless. Obviously, the people who live those realities, in a lot of cases, they're very painful. Because of your platform.
This is kind of an open question to the chat. How much value do you put in anecdotal stories? Because what was that quote from, like, who was it? Was it Lauren Southern or Brittany Venti or someone that said, like, statistics are the plural of anecdotes? But, like, how much weight do we put into these outlier events? Obviously, they did happen to people. They're real events. But, like, you know, if we say how many fingers a human has, you say 10. Well, it's like, well, I know someone with 11 fingers, or I know someone with 5 fingers. That doesn't prove that it's wrong. It just shows that they're a outlier. Correlation, not causation. One quantifiable story is not statistical. Well, yeah, that's true. Basic logic. But at what level do these stories? This is like I'm generally wondering about this. I'm thinking to myself as well, like, because there's a lot of things that happen in life where it's like I notice a different result from what is the mainstream idea, and it's like, is this just because of my own point of view and very limited data? Depends on the situation. I mean, that's true about everything, though. But I mean, fair enough. Fair enough. Anecdotes show that there are gaps in stats and worth reassessing if your statistics are measuring up what you think they are. Okay. I mean, that's probably a pretty good answer.
You speak to a lot of those people. How much is that informing where you're coming from in this debate is the real stories of people who have been hurt by this stuff?
I mean, I've interviewed 1,000 people. I interviewed a guy who had his kid transitioned and there was nothing he could do about it. I interviewed another guy.
That's like absolutely child abuse. I think there's an interesting story developing with, what is it, Anna St. Clair and Elon Musk, where like she was getting... she got paid to be one of the donors of his billionaire sperm or whatever. And now she's like butthurt and she's talking about like transitioning a 1-year-old, and Elon Musk is suing for full custody. It makes absolutely no fucking sense to transition any child. Like, if you're an adult and you want to do whatever you want with your body, that's fine with me. I don't give a shit. But children should not be receiving any sort of drugs that affect them mentally or physically, unless it's for an actual legitimate like, chronic disease or something. The idea that children can even make decisions about what their identity is before they hit puberty is insane, because you don't even have the hormones that make you who you are. Like, well, I'm an 11-year-old and I think that I'm a girl. Their fucking testicles haven't even dropped yet. They don't even know what testosterone feels like, and they've already made the assessment that they're a girl. This is ridiculous. Anyway, just leave the kids alone, okay? If you want to inject yourself with all kinds of crazy stuff, that's fine. Like, if you want to like be that like clavicular guy, because clavicular is essentially like a male trans guy, because he's just full of all of the hormones he's getting are completely grown and made in a lab. But if you're an adult, you should be able to do that. It's kind of ridiculous though that men can't even get testosterone, just for the purpose of like, if they want to bodybuild, they shouldn't, because that's got a lot of different health reasons. But if you want to destroy and potentially risk getting cancer in the future because you want to do steroids and become like an alpha Chad, like Brawley imitation or something, men should be able to do that. Absolutely. It's ridiculous. Anyway.
Spent $300,000 trying to get his kid
back.
back.
I'll go back a little bit.
Who've been hurt by this stuff.
I mean, I've interviewed 1,000 people.
Yeah,
I interviewed a guy
that's the best way to describe clavicular. He's male to male trans. Like, am I wrong though? He fucking takes meth to keep his cheeks hollow. He takes testosterone so he can actually build muscle. He hits himself with a fucking hammer to develop his hunter eyes and cheeks. That's just mental illness.
But his kid transitioned and there was nothing he could do about it. I interviewed another guy and he spent $300,000 trying to get his kid back. He actually went overseas to Ukraine during the war, just trying to be in his kid's life.
That's pretty base, by
So
the
yeah,
way.
it impacts
It's
it a
true.
lot. Yeah, I've interviewed so many men that want nothing more than to just be a dad and see their kid. They don't even care about the money. They just
Why don't you interview a man that'll make you a mother? Just find a husband, Pearl. Stop it. Get some help.
want to see their children. And if you ask Anna, it doesn't exist. But if you ask any man, like everybody knows
All
somebody.
right, chat. We're going to have to ask a question. Should we do a 2-stage poll? All right, well, I'll ask the chat. If you had to marry one of these women, who would it be? Now, Anna Kasparian is older. Actually, I don't know. They're probably about the same age. But I was going to say, I guess I'll put a new poll up. A new poll for the chat. Can you fix Pearl? Can you fix Pearl? Let's see. I'll just make this ambiguous. Can you fix her? Fix her. There we go. Oh, add more option. Nope. There we go. All right. Can you fix her, chat? What about the microchimerism, though? She has a... Pearl does have a lot of various ex-boyfriends. Microchimerism, Dr. Murdoch. Microchimerism. Fix who? It's up to the audience to decide. Okay.
That it's happened to. And commentators can, they can try to minimize it. They can talk from their ivory towers and pretend it's not happening, but there's a genocide of millions of men that's going on in this country.
You use the
A
word-
genocide?
I was gonna say,
1.6 million men commit suicide, have committed suicide since 1970.
This might be controversial, but shouldn't you just be allowed to do that? I mean, nobody's going to stop you if you want to, because, I mean, you can't very well prosecute someone who successfully gets away with it. Now, I do think that you shouldn't, but if we want to give people the right to freedom and the right to make the right and wrong decisions, one of those wrong decisions could be ending your career and trying for New Game Plus. Now, while I don't think that's a good idea and you should never do that, how do we make the determination between who wants to do it and who's mentally ill? That's a really tricky, this is a genuine, very hard question for me, because I'm thinking about the right to freedom and euthanasia, which is a growing concern in certain, I guess, Scandinavian countries with their death pods or some shit. Or if you go to Canada and you've got a sniffle or something and they offer you maid services. It's a tricky one. It's one of those things that I thought a lot about and I don't really have a clear answer for. Is everyone that wants to end themselves, are they all mentally ill? Or can you in good faith make the decision to do that? Don't know. I really generally can't answer this one. It's one of those, maybe there is no answer. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Similar rates of women also attempt suicide but fail because they
That's
usually
because men are just better at getting shit done. So that's just true facts.
don't resort to more violent means of ending their own lives.
Right?
So they'll
But
take pills.
Why is that? Why is it that every time?
I mean, and what Anna's saying here is very much correct. So men, when they want to off themselves, they choose a method that is going to be very effective, whereas women take a method that's going to be painless, or they assume will be, drinking a bunch of wine and taking a bottle of aspirin or something, and then it fails, and then they have the choice. They after going through being sick and then coming to their senses, they say, well, actually, never mind, I won't do it. There is a very funny Seinfeld bit about the about suicide, honestly. Whereas if you fail at that too, why does it make people because people that survive suicide attempts, they usually have a new lease on life. They're I can't believe what I was going to do. I'm gonna work, but it's just another thing that you failed at. So why should you feel good about that? I mean, that's pretty bleak. It's pretty dark, but it is kind of funny. Women don't really mean it. Well, that's the thing, is a lot of it's for attention as well. Performative could be. There's a really funny story about a guy. I don't know if it's true. I've always assumed it's true, though. That a guy that was he really, really wanted to off himself. And so what he went is he swallowed a bottle of pills and alcohol. He made a noose on the seaside, and then he had a gun. Now that I think about this, is probably a fake story, but my dad told me it was absolutely true, and I believe what my father told me. So he tried to hang himself on the side of a cliff above the ocean, and he swallowed a bunch of pills and drunk a bunch of shit, and then he had a gun to shoot himself as well. So as he was hanging, he tried to shoot himself. He missed. He shot the rope. He fell into the ocean. He drank a bunch of seawater, which made him vomit up all of the poison. He then got rescued, but then apparently on the way to the hospital, the ambulance crashed, and he died. Again, I don't know if this is true or not, but I always assumed it was. But like, it's one of those things you never question until you think about it as an adult. But my dad told me this was an absolutely real story when I was a child, so I choose to believe it's true. But it's just kind of a funny little segue.
We bring up men, you have to bring up women.
diversion,
Because
not
we're
really
doing a
segue.
comparative analysis here. You can't just throw out
Right,
statistics
right,
without
but-
comparing
Sounds
it
true.
to
That's good enough.
What
what
I'm
the rates
pointing
are
out-
among women.
What I'm pointing out is, I just pointed out that by 2050, more men will have committed suicide than all of the world wars combined. And your first response was, well, women commit suicide too.
Huh?
Because it
Wait a second. What did she say? That all of the suicides in America or all of men are going to be more than all world wars combined? I mean, I guess it's just 2, right? Isn't it like 80 million people? There's no fucking way that can't be true. Grok, is this true?
What the rates are among women.
What I'm pointing out is, I just pointed out that by 2050, more men will have committed suicide than all of the world wars combined. And your first response was,
So by 2050, I think suicide rates are going down. I want to say, maybe not in recent years, but like over the last 20 years. And the current stat for what Americans is 1 million. So there's going to be an additional 79 million suicides in the next 30 years. I don't think I don't believe this. This sounds like some BS to me. What is she trying to say here? Is anyone going to fact check this?
well, women commit suicide too.
Because it is a problem that is inflicting both sexes in this country. It is a tragedy and should be taken seriously rather than this weird sex war.
But it's not going to be taken seriously when you pretend.
Sex war sounds fun. The sex war. That sounds like based.
And it's not going on.
It's just like my Japanese animes.
It is going on. Are you kidding me? I mean, how many of our soldiers, our veterans, come back to the United States after multiple deployments, do not get treatment or help with PTSD and other mental issues as a result of being deployed multiple times?
Right.
Like, that's a real problem. How come you don't talk about that?
Yeah, but
you
they
blame it on marriage and divorce
home,
instead.
Right, because those soldiers.
It's 1 million a year. If it's still 1 million a year, that would only be an additional 30 million people, though. It's not going to be 80 million. And she said all wars or all world wars. I wasn't sure. But that's like 80. There's no way. I still don't think that's the case.
Soldiers come home to an empty house.
Maybe if it's like globally, maybe if you're including China and India, I'm not sure. It's such a weird thing to say. It doesn't really add up to me.
I think that divorce
They're,
is the reason for most of these suicides.
Men are 9 times more likely to commit suicide after
How many
a
more
divorce.
times likely are women to commit suicide after a divorce?
What about the women?
You don't know
right?
the number,
What
right?
about-
Because you
what
didn't even
about-
care to look
what-
into it.
What about the women, though? That's always what you go to. And that's kind of what I'm trying to point out is feminists don't care about male issues. They don't.
It's 1.6 million since the 1970s. Yeah, that sounds right. Like 1 million a year sounds like way too much. There's no way. 80 million over the past 50 years. I mean, are you talking about? No, like, so the statistic is that Pearl said that by 2050, more men will have committed suicide than have died in all the world's wars. There's no fucking, like, there's probably more people died in like some like Chinese scuffle. Like, have you ever seen like the difference between like European history and like Chinese history? It's like European history is like King Edward the 17th brought a dust-up over the neighboring county. 12 men died over the rights of owning a pig field and the grazing right. And it's like this massive thing, and it's just so inconsequential. Then like you look at Chinese history, and it's like King Jingquanju went out for an afternoon. 50 million people died. It's like the disparity is so funny.
They do not care about equality because whenever you ask them for real equality.
Pearl, my point is that suicide is not just a male issue. It is a huge problem in this country. Women who try to end their own
I think Pearl's thinking about ending her own life right now.
lives are
Rather
less
than
successful because,
continue this
again,
debate.
they're less likely to use a gun, for instance, or hang themselves. They'll take pills, it'll fail.
It's because women don't know how to tie knots. That's a male skill.
It's just a tragic thing all around. But if you actually care about suicide rates, then you would want to know what's causing the suicide rates or the attempts at suicide.
Divorce.
What can we do as a society to help people to prevent that from happening? And you wouldn't make it specifically and solely an issue that inflicts one sex over the other.
According to American statistics, men are 3 to 4 times more likely to self-delete. I'll have to yeah, I mean, I'm not sure what the actual statistic is, but like she's saying that like after men are divorced, they're 9 times more likely to commit suicide. Men just typically have a higher suicide rate as a whole. But that's because men are more like proactive about doing these things and choosing a path which they know will succeed. And a lot of it is also performative on the female side. I will say that. Now this is a problem, obviously, with society. I don't want men doing this, and my sympathy does go out to them. But what can you do? Like, what is the difference between the mentally ill killing themselves and people that are making a choice that maybe they've just given up on life and they've finished everything? Should old people not be able to decide this? This is an interesting question that was brought up actually when one of my favorite authors, Terry Pratchett, he was advocating for euthanasia. Obviously a fantastic writer. Some of his books are absolutely hilarious. If you've never read a Terry Pratchett book, start with The Color of Magic and then go through some of the books. Like Guards, that is so fucking funny. It's like fantasy comedy. So think Lord of the Rings with jokes, basically. It's good shit. There's some really good ones. But, he started to get like, I believe Alzheimer's. And the very thing that he took pride in, his mind, his consciousness was deteriorating right before his eyes. And he was really, he wanted to end it all. Shouldn't he not have that right to do so? This is a hard question. I mean, I don't know. I would say that I would usually advocate for the adult's freedom to make the wrong choice. I don't think it's a good idea. I think he should have stayed around. But, it was a big deal to him. And I'm willing to accept that people have different viewpoints on me, provided their choices do not affect me, right? And I guess with Bruce Willis is like, this is one that's happening right now. Like, this is very sad. Sorry to bring this down a little bit, but Bruce Willis is currently has dementia. His family is reporting that he doesn't even know that he even was a movie star at all. And that's like a really, really sad one. Like, it makes it really, really highlights that you need to take care of your mental health. And not just like that. I don't mean like taking a mental health day, but doing the things that keep your mind healthy. And there's like little things like keeping fit, drinking like a cup of coffee a day is meant to be pretty good to ward off the effects of Alzheimer's and things like that. But just, having a life that's mostly free of vices that will like have these negative cognitive effects going forward. It is something that concerns me because nothing seems more terrifying to me than losing your entire self and consciousness through one of these things that apparently sometimes you just get a bad draw, and that's life. Anyone, what's this? He kept a blog about his early onset Alzheimer's. It's pretty heart-wrenching. Yeah, I read some of this. It was honestly very heartbreaking for me, even though I never met the guy or anything, just because like his books had such an influence on my early reading career. Even though I think I've read like 30 or so of the Discworld books. They're so good.
Again, I mean, you're just proving my point because we talk about male issues, you keep bringing it back to the women.
I just want you to compare the stats you're spewing right now with something to compare it to.
Okay. Do you think that women should be on the front lines of the military like the men?
No.
If they can pass the physical test necessary to do so, yeah.
Do you think women should be in selective service like the men?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, and they should be on the front lines as infantry.
No, like there's different roles in the military. Like there's all sorts of administrative tasks or supportive roles that women don't have. Like, this is such a non-question. Like, should women have to serve during a war where conscription is activated? Absolutely. But not on the front line. That's ridiculous. But there's a lot of, there's all sorts of roles in the military they could do.
If they are physically capable of doing it, yes.
Okay, so no.
So you want to put people who aren't physically... I mean, obese men wouldn't be put on the front lines.
Do you think women should be jailed for false accusations?
Depends on what the...
I mean, I think the punishment should fit the crime. Like with the Johnny Depp stuff, like Amber Heard and everything. She got away with a lot for a long time, but now her career's ruined. She's a laughingstock, and she had to pledge millions of dollars, right, in compensation. But like, I do think, like in the case where it's like a serious effect on, like if you like falsely claiming murder, for example. Like, I think that if you falsely claim that someone murdered someone or someone falsely claiming rape or something, absolutely you should get the same penalty as if it really happened, because that's what you're potentially subjecting the man to in these situations. But I mean, this goes both ways for anyone who's doing false reporting and criming. It should always match the severity of the accusation.
The false accusations are. If she's falsely accusing someone of rape, for instance, yes.
Okay.
I mean, Anna agrees with me. This is incredibly based. What the fuck is going on? My expectations are being subverted. Like that's like the right take. Actually, true, real. Let's go back.
Front lines.
Do you think women should be jailed for false accusations?
Depends on what the false accusations are. If
Just
she's
yes or
falsely
no?
accusing someone of rape, for
Just
instance,
or no?
yes.
Just okay. Thank
That's
you.
based.
I agree. Do you think that
Okay,
women...
like, okay, I agree. She's like trying to get her in a gotcha, but like she's actually just destroying her by being incredibly reasonable.
And
She's not prepared for this. You're supposed to be silly. I saw the Young Turk clips where you guys are seething over the Bernie election. I wasn't prepared for this. Is this what happened? Did Pearl just not prepare, but she assumed that she'd be like shadowboxing some retard? Well, I mean, what's going on here?
do you think that child custody should be 50-50?
I do.
As long as the court determines that both parents are capable of being caretakers, yes. In fact, that's the ideal situation.
Okay, so yes.
Yes.
All right, do you believe in alimony?
No.
I believe in alimony in specific cases where the
Oh.
woman decided to forego having a career and working,
Boo. Boo, Anna.
decided to stay home and raise the kids. In those cases, I believe she deserves alimony, yes.
But that's a privilege.
You're ridiculous.
That's-
Anyway,
that's a-
next, move
Wait,
on.
you said it's ridiculous.
It's
that
ridiculous,
it's a privilege
especially,
to stay home with
especially
your
coming
kids.
from a girl who grew up in an affluent situation with incredibly wealthy parents.
This is true.
You don't know anything about struggling economically or financially. So to tell a single mother who
This is actually incredibly true what she's saying because she fucking researched this. Apparently Pearl did no research whatsoever. But Pearl was like her parents are incredibly wealthy and she was basically paid for to go play volleyball in London. And then she just jumps straight into this grift where she just gets paid money from people that hate women, essentially. So she has never been through any. The only struggle that she's ever had is finding a white boyfriend.
decided about affluent
That's why she's
situation
unmarried, by the
with
way.
incredibly wealthy parents, you don't know anything about struggling economically or financially. So to tell a single mother who decided to stay home and raise her children instead of work that she doesn't deserve a penny to raise her kids after a divorce is the most privileged piece of shit thing to say.
This is
Next.
this is the type
Alimony should be pre-agreed to, and just in case they presumably agree for the wife not to do work. I mean, people can agree to anything that they want, and that's why I think that the government should get out and you can just make marriages to personal contracts and everything. That's fine if people agree to this, but again, like if you've got a situation where like someone's married for 30 years, like they get married at 20, divorced at 50, I believe that any excess wealth that there's or property should be divided between them. That was accrued during the marriage in particular. After that point, I don't think you should get alimony. Anything. If you spent those 30 years just staying at home, not improving yourself, not building any skill, or not raising children or anything, then what the fuck have you been doing for the last 30 years? Like, honestly. Because being a housewife is a job. And it can be both the most rewarding and the least rewarding job ever, depending on how you treat your marriage. But yeah, people can agree to anything they want. I don't care about that. Like if they make an agreement, why not?
of nagging that drives men to suicide.
Good. But I'm married and you're not, so next.
Oh!
I get it.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. This is too fucking good. There was a clip that I saw that I wanted to think. This one. Assuming women know what they want beforehand. True and real. Very based. Oh my goodness. This is too funny. I need to go to the bathroom though. So we're going to take a quick commercial break. I'll play some tax free for you. So we'll be back in like a second. I'll just put up a tag so people know the show's not over. Let me see. I'll do a new one. Create banner, scroll on the bottom. Bathroom break. BRB. Okay. There we go. There we go. Bathroom break. We'll enjoy some tax free. I'll see you in about a minute or two. There you go.
Did you hear me? It is tax free. My Zannies, my hookers, my super chats too. Hit that button, cause every single super chat I got it tax free. Tax free. Take out your pill bottles, shake your pills, shake your pills, because it's gonna be tax free. Tax free. Tax free. Tell your wiggas that we got it. Tax free in my little tin shack. Cats flying in tornadoes. Gun flopping up and down. Let's get the guns out. Gun, 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 gun. Shake it around when it's tax free. Wiggle, wiggle. It's a tip, so it's tax-free. But wiggle, you best not fold the bullshit because these super chats, they all tax-free. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. Yo, faith, don't make me say it. Squeeze. Child support, faith, it's tax-free. Compass sneak, cause it's tax-free. That's right, bitch. Now kiss my Gucci hat, I said kiss it. It's authentic, bitch. It's time to gut out. Shake your gut like you mean it. Wiggle, wiggle. Welcome to the kill stream. This song.
All right. I almost press end stream by mistake because it's the habit of ending the show with that. All right, we're back. We're back, chat. How do I turn this ticker off now? There we go. All right. We're 45 minutes in. There's another 30 minutes. So we're a little bit past the halfway mark and we're 2 hours in. I think we're going to go faster though because there'll be less interruptions. But I'm having a lot of fun. Are you enjoying the stream, chat? This is just so funny. Like, I think that this is a new format that is, they're doing more shows. No, maybe it won't be as entertaining as this one. This is if you're just joining us. This is from Word War 1 or something. So it's like debate, almost blood sport like WWE style things. I think there's a lot of potential here, and I know that there's a lot of people going to these events, like online commentators. So there may be a new treasure trove of entertainment coming for us. But this one is a very fun. So I'm looking forward to seeing more. I had to go touch some sand. Yes, indeed. It's very sandy out there today. You know, speaking of sand, the funny thing is that I've rented a car twice to go to the Totori Sand Dunes, which is where the Sand Museum is. Actually, I've been there 3 times now. But the first time I went by myself, the second time I was in the area, so I stopped by anyway. The third time was just this Christmas. But every time I rent a car, it's like always the Toyota rent a car or something. The sand is always, there's so much fucking sand in the bottom of the car. It's kind of funny. It's like when you go to the beach in Australia and your friend doesn't wash off his feet when he gets into the car. And they're like I always feel a little bit guilty when I return the car because like the mat, you know, down by the pedals or whatever, it's always covered in sand. Here we go again. All right, no more sand competition. Okay. All right, we'll go back to the thing. All right, we're continuing.
Jesus Christ.
Jesus Christ.
This is the type of nagging that drives men to suicide.
Good. But I'm married and you're not, so next.
Jesus Christ. I get it.
Reminds me of the old classic joke. Like there's the man and the woman that have been together for like 50 years, and the woman says to the husband, like, oh no, wait, sorry. It was like the two people are talking at a party, and it says like, "You're an insufferable man. If you were my husband, I would poison you." And the man looks at the woman. He says like, "If you were my wife, I would drink it." There you go. It's a classic old timey joke. What happened to like the hate my wife like as a media? Like there used to be, I think in the 80s, the hate my wife maxing was like the funniest thing on television. Like you had all these sitcoms about like Married with Children and stuff. Which is like boomer. It's like boomer humor, I guess. It just like phased out of the internet. Oh, I hate my wife. Yeah, just got a barbecue or grill for God's sake. Those sort of stuff. It's a lost media, unfortunately.
A little harder to debate someone who's not an OnlyFans girl, right?
Whoa. Okay, hold on a second. If you pay attention, Anna's actually using Trump's debate style. I mean, it's effective. There's a reason that Trump is president, and a large part of it is the debates and how funny he was. And this is what I say, that people don't really care about facts and logic. They care about emotions. And now you can use facts and logic to establish that emotional reward or whatever. But you have to not be boring. That's the most important thing for any debate. And that's why Trump is so successful. He just says shit that's like really funny. Like, what is that? Abdul Abu Daghi, he died like a dog. It's so good. I watched some of those Shane Gillis clips where he's imitating Trump. He's so talented at it.
I get it.
Let's go.
A little harder to debate someone who's not an OnlyFans girl, right?
Oh shit. What's the tour gate in the ocean where the tide is in? That is Itsukushima Shrine. Or you can just search for Miyajima in Hiroshima. If you just search for Hiroshima places to see, that is about 30 minutes away from the Genbaku Dome, which is the atomic dome, which is a very good place to visit, honestly. The remains of the nuclear attack on Hiroshima. Honestly, check out that museum. It is a harrowing experience that I think you'll... it won't be fun, but it'd be rewarding to go see it.
Never. I don't need to. Not that I'm judging.
It's why isn't paternity fraud illegal?
It should be. It is. Wait, what do you mean? It's fraud.
We've been over this already.
It's estimated 6% of men are fathering children that are not theirs.
I don't really believe your stats. Like, where are
the
you getting
American
that
Blood
stat
Bank
from?
Association. Are you happy?
Okay,
1/3 of
that's wrong.
paternity
And
tests.
yeah, there should be consequences for that.
But there aren't.
Okay.
But there aren't. Where
And there
have the
should be. So
feminists
we agree
been?
on that. Next.
Right? You can agree, but you haven't covered it. And that's my point. Is you guys?
I mean, this is kind of a silly point though. Like, why aren't you covering this? And sometimes as a streamer, you get this as well. It's like, why aren't you talking about the so-and-so situation? It's like, well, there's only a limited time in the day. You're not entitled to talk about everything. Just talk about the things you're interested in.
don't care about equality. You want freedom at the expense of men.
Okay, sure. Next.
Do you think that men should have the right to opt out of fatherhood, since women have the right to opt out of motherhood?
No.
I think that if women have the right to abortion, then men should have the option for financial abortion. But there's some caveats to that. Like, men do need to take responsibility for just nutting in random slags.
Put a condom on. You don't want to have children, put a condom on.
Or require him to wear a condom. That's equal.
Yeah.
That choice is equally irresponsible.
He's the one with the Johnson. He gets to decide what he does with it.
I mean, it takes two to tango. Like, both men and women, I think, don't represent this truthfully. It's like, oh, I couldn't control myself. He was such a bad boy. Oh, her legs were so spread. I couldn't. Like, no, like like wrap it before you tap it, lads. That's just like common sense.
I think I'm more of a feminist than you.
Sure. Go great. Congratulations.
Maybe that's why she's unmarried, because she's she's an ugly feminist and she's huge. Although unironically, I would like a tall girlfriend, but it's just not on the cards.
This is the longest 30 minutes of my life.
Dead air. Oh my goodness, this is brutal. This is fucking so
I'm
brutal.
going to interject again if I can.
Oh no, it's Captain Saberho. He's thank God this man's here.
All right.
No, I'm just kidding. So
There's a 15-minute procedure to deal with the raw egg situation. Yeah, I guess you could get a vasectomy if you want to. Not necessarily a good idea in my opinion, but yeah, sure. But you shouldn't be nutting in chicks raw anyway, because you're gonna get like fucking VDs. Like, now if you get into a relationship with somebody, you go for like a test or something, make sure she's clean, and then you're also snipped, then sure, nut all you want. But like, the idea that you should just get snapped so you can go around nutting in everyone is that's dangerous risk-taking behavior, okay? You know, you don't want to get AIDS or some shit.
one thing that I do think is happening is that there is a shift that is taking place in America, and I think you both have alluded to this a little bit. And so I'll ask Anna first if you
There is an irony here of the man coming in to help Pearl. Definitely.
agree with this. Because you said that going into this debate, you
Learn how to pull out, bro. It's not hard. This is not true. Pre-cum exists, okay? I used to work a little bit with the Family Planning Association when I was younger, when I was working in healthcare industries. And if you just pulling out before you cum is not 100% effective, there can be sperm inside of pre-cum, okay? So this is not 100%. Just pull out does not. And first of all, what if she latches onto you with like the vice grip of the legs like that? Then you're fucking stuck, okay? What do you do then? Like, if you're dating a chick with like powerful legs, you know, if you're a leg man, you're like fucking doomed if she makes that decision. Anyway, the pull-out game don't work. It's true. It's true. Pull-out game don't work. Chance of vaginal sex is virtually non-existent. I heard this is actually accurate, provided you got no cuts on your dick. But it's just risky. I'm just saying there's a lot of stuff you can get. There's like VDs of all kinds, okay? Not just AIDS. I'm just saying because that's the most scary one. But like, obviously there's like herpes, syphilis, gonorrhea, all sorts, okay? Plus she might just have a stank pussy. So you never know.
thought a lot of these things were true.
Right.
And you started to see that maybe these things were not as true as you had believed. Do you believe that your previous belief...
Push her off, she's just a girl. I don't think you're aware of how much leg power there is in a woman. Like, typically, a woman's leg power will actually outdo a man's arm power. When it comes to, like, when they do the lock, okay, it's like jujitsu shit. You're not getting out of that. And first of all, like, could you overpower eventually? Absolutely. But she doesn't have to, she doesn't have to hold on to you forever. She just has to hold on to you for a few extra pumps when you're like, oh, no, I'm caught. And then it's fucking done. Okay. She just needs to hold on to you for 10 to 15 seconds. And then she's got you. Okay. Are you going to be able to escape? Yeah, but it's going to be too late. Do what you want. She's already won at that point.
Was informed by nonsense or the fact that states and legislatures and courts are changing what they're doing over the last few years in terms of alimony and parental time and that kind of thing?
I think that with more women participating in the workforce, it's hard to argue that, women should get paid alimony when they have their own income. So yeah, I think that the culture has changed, the workforce has changed, and as a result of that, the courts weigh whether or not something like alimony makes sense. And look, much like Pearl, I had heard the horror stories, and I was basing much of my worldview on situations like this, based on anecdotes, basically. And so when you look at the statistics and the broader picture, you have a clearer idea of what's actually happening in the aftermath of a divorce.
Would you be willing to concede at least that maybe some of the reasons some of these things are shifting is because of people like Pearl and others who are drawing attention to these stories? Because I think we could all agree that until recently, a lot of those stories were just stories you hear from other people, and it was not allowed in media at all. It was not.
I don't think this is true. I don't know. Do you guys disagree? Like, is Pearl and the Whatever podcast and Andrew Tate, are they making a societal service by informing people about these? I don't think that's true. I think they're preaching to the choir. Their fan base, the people that support them, already believe the things that they are saying, and they're just looking for someone to parrot their own opinions back to them. That's my opinion. I think there is societal change is happening. I mean, it always happens. Society is always changing. Life is always changing. But I don't think it's because of these people. I think they are a symptom and not the cause of it. These are like the leeches that latch onto a movement when they find out there's money to be made, in my honest opinion.
Not discussed. Would you at least concede that?
I'm sure that there are advocates who have fought to maybe change the way these court cases play out, sure. I don't know about Pearl, though.
I understand. We're in debates. You can't get too much credit. Pearl, in your experience, the men that you talk to, do you see a difference in terms of the age of those men, where maybe it's getting better for some, because I would take it that some of the guys who are a little older and have been through this in the past, the courts are starting to recognize and realize that maybe it's not very fair?
No.
No?
No.
Why, and why do you believe that? You think the courts are completely...
There's men that write into my show every day just talking about how much they want to be fathers. So,
Then why haven't you married one of them?
I hope it changes, but right now I would say no.
Do you think it's fair that all of the young women who were preyed upon as minors by Jeffrey Epstein are now experiencing yet another administration engaging in a cover-up?
I mean, that's a weird segue. It is pretty disgusting what's going on with the government suppressing the story, though. Just publish the Epstein list, but that's a bit of a weird one.
Or was it the female's fault for being preyed upon by a disgusting pedophile? I'm just curious.
What kind of question is that?
I think it's a pretty straightforward one.
That has nothing to do with the topic.
Yeah, I agree with Pearl on this point. Like, it's kind of a weird thing to bring up.
No, it does, though, because you're talking about the unfairness of our court system, especially as it pertains to divorces.
Do I say it, chat? The Epstein situation it's not a man versus woman situation. It's well, you know who's responsible.
But we're talking about a guy who got a sweetheart deal after raping minor girls, and then even after that, multiple administrations, Democrat, Republican, doesn't matter, engaged in a cover-up, ensuring
I think this is an L segue for Anna.
Those victims
She's
would
doing pretty
never
good,
get
though.
justice.
And this has to do with this...
I mean, you want to talk about the unfairness in the court system and how terrible it is for men. What about how terrible it is?
Oh, wait. Ghislaine is a woman? I got something on Ghislaine, actually. Like, hold on. I saved this in my folder. I wonder if I have... hold on. I've got a folder where I just keep the random things that I want to talk about or, like, think about. I got something about Ghislaine. She had, like, this Reddit account. Hold on. Give me just a second to scroll up. I gotta go through. I've got quite a lot of things here. Which folder did I put it in? Because this was kind of recent. It's kind of this weird thing. Oh, here it is. It's actually not that far away. Okay. This one. All right. One of the most powerful Reddit accounts ever, Maxwell Hill, a longtime curator and moderator of World News, stopped posting the day Ghislaine Maxwell was arrested. The account hasn't posted for the account had posted daily for almost 17 or 14 years. So it seems that like this is almost certainly her account. 15 million karma, Reddit age 19. Moderator of World News. Evidence. This post nearly every day for 14 years up until Ghislaine Maxwell's arrest. Gaps in posting line up with Maxwell's mother's death and the Kleiner-Perkins party where Ellen K. Powell reported seeing Maxwell at the Terramar Project speech. Goes around correcting the age of consent in various countries. Posts articles about why we should legalize child exploitation material. Gripes over overzealous child protection laws. Moderator of Our Environment, a small subreddit. Our Enviro Action. Many posts about ocean protection, the Terramar Project, anyone? User claims to be born in December. Wikipedia shows December 25th birthday for Maxwell. Oh, Merry Christmas. Another user states winter doesn't start until December 21st, at which point they state the user that states their birthday is after 21st. The user, Maxwell Hill, may be a combination of her surname and the family home in the UK, Headington Hill Hall. Account spams strictly liberal propaganda, but doesn't seem to have mentioned anything Epstein related. User is not some other person from Malaysia, as World News mods have said here and here. Maxwell says she's only visited Malaysia countries. Maxwell AMA strongly suggests user is British. User is accused of corruption, auto-deleting mentions of their own account and more. And so this is like an interesting conspiracy. Good Logic said it was pronounced Ghislaine in court. Is it? I don't know. Is it Ghislaine? I think Ghislaine's funnier, so I'm going to continue saying Ghislaine. I mean, if it's wrong, then it's wrong. I don't know. Also, Chuchin. I don't know. Welcome to member status. Thank you very much. Now you get access to all the Kookaburra videos in the Discord. Well, I guess you have to join the Discord force first, but anyway, let's go back to the just a weird segue, but that's kind of crazy, right? So she was actually influencing the culture and politics of Reddit for 15 years. I mean, yeah, interesting. Now let's continue.
For women.
Look, that has nothing to do with anything.
It has a lot to do
I think
with
in
what we're
fairness, you got to admit that's an anecdote too in comparison to the overall statistics.
It's a pretty big anecdote.
He's a big anecdote.
She's a
but
predator.
He's also an untouchable anecdote, right? He's
I don't think it's untouchable. I think it's super touchable.
So let's go back to actually hold on. We got 10 seconds, so we won't hold on. All right, here's what we're gonna do. We're actually going to take a break. We're gonna come off of the stage, and then we're gonna actually go up to the analysts and get their take on this first 30 minutes. All right?
Sounds
Take it away,
good.
Sam.
All right, the analysts. We're going to skip that part, obviously. Just go straight into part 3. I will criticize Anna's appearance in this photo. This kind of looks like she's crazy. They need to, maybe it's just because of the lighting or something. She looks much better on stage than she does in her photo. Pearl, unfortunately, looks bad in both of them.
That's the way it should always come back. A little pyro. All right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to come back. We have about 15 more minutes of open debate, and then we're going to get into the final statements. So we'll pick up our open debate. Pearl, I'll let you begin.
What's your plan when men stop doing the dirty and dangerous jobs that keep society running?
Men are never going to stop doing the dangerous and dirty jobs because men like doing them in many cases, and also they have a reward associated with them, which is why they choose to do them in the first place. Like, nobody's being forced working on oil rigs. They do it because it has an insanely high reward. What kind of question is this? This is like some fantasy, like, bullshit.
If you could hold your mic.
Sorry, I'll say it again.
Can you give me an example of which jobs you're referring to?
Logging, plumbing, crab fishing, oil rig.
Yeah, those are dominated
Men are going to do those because they have a lot of money associated with them, regardless of the risk. What kind of question is this? Men aren't going to stop.
by men. They have the physical capacity to do it. Men and women are built differently.
What's your
So you're
plan
right.
when they stop?
I mean, we're going to have a problem.
But they're not
Are
gonna
you
stop.
suggesting that women should be forced to work on oil rigs and things like
What
that?
is your plan?
I mean, that might make some interesting television. I would pay to see an oil rig that, oh, actually, this would be an amazing, like, this would be an actually amazing reality TV show. You got 2 oil rigs next to each other, and one has got exclusively men and one has got exclusively women, and they have to operate it. That'd be such a good TV show. Holy shit. They would make more money than the oil industry, now that I think about it. They could be like that. It could be like that reality TV show where they have the island with the men and the island of the women. Are men disappearing? No, they're not. This is a totally fantasy question by Pearl, and it's like ridiculous. But like, this is actually, I would be hyped to watch this. I would love to see the women struggling with the oil rig. That'd be so funny.
That's a
What do
ridiculous
men get out
question.
of doing those
I don't
jobs?
have a plan, Pearl,
Money.
for a
Feminists
situation in
never
which
do.
men no longer do those jobs.
They never
Maybe you
do.
do it. I don't know.
What's your plan when men start
I mean, she's got the physique for it to work on those crab boats. Arr. Send her to the depth, men.
walking away from marriage?
Now, walking away from marriage, this is a better question. Like, are some men going to start walking away with marriage? Well, men should definitely take pride in themselves, and they shouldn't just get married because society tells them to. I do think that married men will have a better life overall, that you should value yourself to the point where you can say, hey, look, if I can't find what I'm looking for, then I choose not to get married. That's perfectly fine.
What's your plan?
So, do men or women get a raw deal from marriage? Because you just
What
said
is
men
your
walking
plan-
away
what
from
is
marriage.
your
So,
plan?
is he culpable for doing that?
What is your
Actually, I did eat breakfast this morning, as you should mention it.
plan when men walk away from marriage?
Is he responsible for walking away from a
changing the
marriage?
topic. What is
or
your
is he
plan?
just never guilty of
My
anything?
point is you shit on men.
I don't shit on
and
men.
yet
I love men.
Yet the very microphone you're using was built by men. The building was built by men. And there's no gratitude or appreciation. You just tell them they're not doing enough.
What?
Got me. You got me. Yep.
So what's your plan when men start walking away from society?
What do you mean by walking away from society?
When men stop doing the dangerous jobs, when men stop getting married, when men stop having kids.
To be quite
What
honest
is
with
your
you,
plan?
if American men decide they no longer want to do those jobs, very likely our government will import men from countries where they're willing to do those jobs. That's probably how
And
it's
what's
going
your
to work
plan
out.
when they date a man?
Isn't Pearl like pro this idea? That means there's more in her dating pool if they start inviting the brown immigrants that like the ones that she's dating. Not that she shouldn't be able to do it. It's just funny when you bring it up because she knows that her fan base absolutely hates the idea that that's what she's doing.
American women and then decide to stop too.
Yes. It's not that she only likes black men. Those are just the only ones that date her.
I'm not worried about that.
Of course you're not.
No. I never had
The
any
future
problems.
is not going to be great for feminists. You guys are going to get the equality that you're asking for. Men are not going to protect women in the streets. Men are going to stop signing up for the infrastructure jobs. The birth rate's going to keep falling, and the future is going to be bleak.
Birth rate falling, that could happen. I mean, that's the trend for most civilized and first world countries. Absolutely. That happens when the country becomes more affluent. Men walking away from infrastructure jobs, that's never going to happen because men want to do those jobs and they paid very well for those jobs. So they seek out those jobs and they make very lucrative careers of it. What was the other part that she said?
You guys are going to get the equality that you're asking for.
Maybe.
Men are
I mean,
not going to
if you import all of the third world into America to replace the falling birth rates, then that could happen, absolutely. But I think that people overstate this situation quite a bit because there's a sort of an ebb and flow to these things. While birth rates are going down now, I think that as there is less children, then some people will be incentivized to have more children as a result of that. It does happen. Now, the problem is that there is a lot of governments that want short-term gains by bringing in endless immigration. Now, that is a problem. Now, of course, that when I've talked about this in Japan, it's not happening in Japan, but people say it is, and they're like, well, it's going to happen in the future. But it is absolutely happening in various countries. So you have to be careful of these politicians. And it's kind of funny because in many ways, a king can be better for a country than a politician because a king has a incentive for a country to do well because they want their prodigy to take over their kingdom and a successful kingdom, whereas politicians only care about getting as much power in the most 4 years or so. And one way to do that is by importing a lot of people to do these sort of jobs to make the endless machine keep churning. Now, I think that people overstate the situation a lot in certain places, and there will be like these knockbacks eventually and corrections, because that's what happens, right? The good men create bad times. Strong men create good times create weak men create bad times create strong men. It is kind of like a cycle. Now, I think that we do need to have a bit of concerns, but I think I'm much more optimistic than a lot of the doomers that kind of follow the manosphere that Pearl is a part of.
Protect women in the streets. Men are going to stop signing up for the infrastructure jobs. The birth rate's going to keep falling, and the future is going to be bleak.
I don't necessarily want a monarchy. I mean, if I'm the king, then I'm sure I do. But like, it's just an interesting observation. Now, of course, with monarchies, you do also get the problem of like if you got a mad king or something. But in many cases, a dictator or a king can be more incentivized to make the country strong and great than a politician who's just trying to get their temporary glory.
Okay. Listen, I think men and women serve important roles in society. I think that you have a shallow understanding of what I believe, number one, but more importantly, what the dynamic is between men and women in modern society. You're under this weird impression that the anecdotal evidence that you cite is indicative of the outcome of all marriages. In reality, study after study shows that married
Half of
couples
marriages
tend
end in
to be
divorce.
happier than single individuals.
Right? They're happy before the divorce.
Divorce is terrible. Divorce.
I mean, who supports this? Like, it's a super bleak idea. It's like, yeah, you're going to be happy until you get divorced. I mean, if that's the way that you believe about the world, then it's going to be what you're actually going to get. Like, I have a very sad feeling that Pearl's going to get exactly what she's asking for, more so than anyone else. But I mean, these statistics are true, that married people are happier, because when it turns out when you've got a family working together for a same goal, you've got a team, you work harder, and that makes you happier because you feel more fulfilled. Life really is simple if you just stop worrying about all of this like existential bullshit and just return to tradition. Like the things that built our society, which is the nuclear family, monogamy, marriage, kids, community, those sort of things do make you happy. So, make it happen.
Means that the marriage didn't work out. Obviously, they're not going to be happy in the middle of a divorce.
Like, correlation doesn't mean causation. People marry happy people, and you're attributing it to marriage, but you're not going to marry someone that's a bitch.
Not necessarily.
Okay.
You're right, Pearl.
What's really interesting is if you look at marriage rates, which have dropped in the United States, not just in the United States, actually globally, you'll notice that the people who are less likely to get married happen to be those who are from a lower socioeconomic status.
Right, marriage is disappearing from the. That's true.
From poor individuals, yes.
What's your point?
Do you wonder why?
Because women marry rich.
People forgo marriage due to their own personal financial situation.
So women marry for money a lot.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm going back to this.
Let me ask you something, Pearl.
She's pulling out her statistics. Get the per capita, Pearl. You gotta pull out the break in case of emergency. Per capita. Ching.
Men.
Would you be willing to marry a guy who's poor?
Men.
Because I married a guy who was in debt and loved the hell out of him. Best thing in my life. Would you marry a guy who was broke,
that's very
no
nice,
career,
Anna.
and in debt?
That's
Would
very,
you?
that's very nice, Anna.
Would you?
Her husband was broke. He had no prospects. She's a sugar mama. This guy, I don't know anything about Anna Kasparian's husband, but did he just fall ass backwards into a fantastic situation? Because Anna's not unattractive. She's pretty attractive, in my opinion. Now, she may be cringe on the Young Turks and stuff, but she's putting out a pretty good showing tonight. But this unemployed guy in debt got married to this woman who's just taking care of him. What, is he just playing video games or something? This seems like a pretty good deal for him. This may be the worst possible person they could have brought against Pearl. I wonder if they planned it, if it just worked out by karma or some shit. I don't know. Pearl got cucked by a homeless man. Wait, is that? I think I remember hearing about that story. Something like that, right? Man. Would I let Anna fall ass backwards into me if I was single? Absolutely.
I'm going back
Answer
to
the
the
question.
topic.
Would you marry a broke guy in debt?
All right, so we're going back to the
Would you?
topic.
Would you?
All right, this is the nagging. This is the nagging again. Okay, so
I will state that there's a very interesting correlation between people that have nothing to offer and having very high standards. You see this a lot. Usually the culprit is women, very unattractive, lard type women. They often had the highest standards. And often as people get older, their standards seem to increase as well, which is funny because it should be the inverse of that. But kind of funny how that works.
I'm pushing you to answer a question because
speaking of lard asses, actually, remember I was telling you about the kiwis that I found when we were doing the lolcal of the year review? I was talking about how I got this toy kiwi at the zoo. This buff kiwi. I don't know if you can see him. There you go. He's got his little 6-pack there. This is my gold body chat. But I found the picture of the other kiwis because I was trying what happened is, so we went to the zoo. I got scammed out of going to the Atlas statues from Greece or whatever, or Italy. And we went to the zoo instead. That's where I saw the kookaburra. But then we found this gachapon machine. So it was like, it's 200 yen each. And I really wanted this fat kiwi. I wanted this fat chonky boy so much. And we were joking with each other saying like, we're doing like fat kiwi fortune telling. So both me and my girlfriend put 200 yen into this machine. And we said that whatever kiwi we got was going to be our gold body for the year. And I really wanted to get this fat kiwi because it's so fucking funny. He's just like, there's something about this kiwi that's just so adorable. I really wanted this fatty so much. Unfortunately, I actually got the one with the protein drink. So this is the kiwi that I got. And my girlfriend got the one with the little dumbbell, and we traded. But I really wanted this kiwi. I'm so mad. I should have just kept playing. No, did I get the fat one? No, I got the one with the protein cup, the one that's got his beak and thing. This is the one that my girlfriend got though, but I traded for this one because I thought it was better. So there you go. Like every kiwi has a six-pack except for this Lardas. He's like doing a dirty bulk. There's nothing wrong with that. But he's so adorable. I really wanted to have this sitting on my desk, and I'm so mad. I have to go back to the zoo and try and get it again. But it's like, this is legit just gambling because you never know which one. You could get 6 of the same kiwi before the fat one is like the super rare one or something. This is the only time I ever play gachapon machines is when I tried to get this fat kiwi. Didn't get it. It's rigged. It is. The riggers got me again.
So you are judging women, making a blanket statement of who they would be willing to marry, who they wouldn't be willing to marry. But you're not answering the question yourself. Would you be willing to marry a broke guy in debt?
Does your husband have to listen to this?
Would you?
Does he have to listen to this?
Oh, he loves it.
All right,
Can't get enough
so
of
can
it.
I go back
Do you
to the
not want to answer
question?
that? Why do you not want to answer that?
Yeah, why not?
Just say, no, I don't want to broke.
Love is love. Now, back to the question.
She can't say that she wants to marry a broke bitch because then her feminist is going to leave her.
Men, 88% of the food. The power grid, 93% men. Transportation, 95% men.
Men are important to
Communications,
society.
90% men. Material production, 78% men. Software, 80% men. Auto workers, 98% men. Carpenters, 98% men. Electricians, 98% men. If you remove the top male-dominated jobs from the economy, you would have no running cars, no housing, no electricity, no open machinery, no materials or fabrics, and no computers. There would be no buildings and no Amazon delivery.
I mean, this is all true, but it's pointless to mention because men aren't going to go on strike. There's always going to be men to work these jobs because they're high-paying jobs and they're jobs that men are just going to do. So I don't know why she's bringing this up, except as trying to prove that like men are important to society. But Anna's already conceded that this is true, and it's like not even that she hates men. It seems like she's actually quite fond of men. What's weird is that she's the only one that seems to be supporting marriage and a family. I mean, what what is Pearl advocating for at all? I'm just confused.
Everyone said that men are not a very important part of American society.
You want men enslaved to women for nothing in return.
No, you're just making
That's
things
what you
up.
want.
That literally doesn't make any fucking sense. She's essentially a sugar mummy for her broke ass husband who got like the best fucking deal in the world. Like, where are all these mummy maxed career women that look fantastic when I was single? Like, what's going on here?
That's what you want. You want men on the hook for
Okay,
child
Pearl,
support.
what have I said that gives you that impression?
Let her finish.
What have I
You want-
said
you
that
want-
gives you that impression?
You want men on the hook for child support. You want men on the hook for alimony.
You want men to not take responsibility for their own children.
You've been on the air for 20 years, and you have not advocated for men that are victims of paternity fraud. You want men to...
You're not responsible for every problem in society. This is ridiculous. I mean, don't they mostly do politics?
do all of the work, get no credit for nothing. And men aren't going to do it anymore. They're going to walk away, Anna. They're not going to do it anymore.
They're not going to.
And feminists, as you said, have no plan for when that happens. And I wish
What do you want
well.
their plan to be? You think it's a feminist responsibility to plan?
Like, this is the weird thing. Like, this is like what Pell's saying is almost like incredibly feminist talking point about how you need, like, trying to, you need this to work, or otherwise we're going to quit. We're going to strike. It's like, no, it's never going to happen. Like, so what is she talking about? This is crazy.
For this made-up society where all men decide they no longer want to work?
You guys know what's funny? She actually advocated for left-wing policies the last 20 years, and then she got assaulted by a homeless person.
What does that have to do with the topic?
Because it was the result of what you voted for, Anna.
Yeah.
What?
First of all,
And so,
Sorry, this is an uncharitable pause by Anna. To see this face normally, you have to be unemployed Anna's husband or whatever. But anyway, what a thing to say. Yeah, well, you got beat up by a homeless person.
And want to know why? Because
You think
Anna,
I voted?
Because,
Hold on.
Because,
You
because,
think I voted
because,
for homeless people
because,
to go around
all right, so
sexually assaulting
Anna,
people?
Because Anna
By the
was.
way, I got sexually assaulted
do you know,
by
do
a
you know,
guy.
all
Was
right,
that
all right, all right.
was
So,
that
do you know
his
the other crazy
responsibility?
thing
Was that
is-
something that he did, or was that my fault too?
All right, so the other crazy thing is that Anna complains
crazy.
that women's opinions aren't taken seriously, while a whole event
I mean, Pearl's making a pretty good argument for not taking women seriously, I'll have to say.
was catered around her opinion. The other thing that's crazy
What are you talking about?
is Anna complains about women being oppressed, and yet she had less experience than her co-host at the Young Turks.
Hold on.
And-
Hold on. What were my complaints about women being oppressed?
Experience in what? Fucking horses? Like shank yogurt?
Can you be
All right,
specific?
all right.
What
You've
did I
had
say?
20
Go ahead
years
and quote
on-
me.
you've had-
Go ahead and
you-
quote me, because you make shit up.
Yeah,
And you just
all
think
right.
like it's gonna
The
stand.
nagging,
You've never
make
had
it
a
end.
strong woman
Make it end, the
challenge your
nagging, make it
bullshit
end.
assertions. So go ahead and
Make
tell me
it
what
end.
have I complained about?
Okay,
Give me the quote.
The nagging. You said women's opinions are not taken seriously.
But you're not taking her opinion seriously! What do you mean? Oh my goodness.
When did I say that?
The nagging is coming from inside the house.
In a YouTube video.
There's 2 women on this stage
Okay,
right now
all
for the
Are we-
headline event.
Oh my God, are we gonna end?
When have I said women's opinions
All right,
don't
all
get
right.
taken seriously?
It's
You
kind
just
of
make
like
it
the
up.
roundabout. This is like eternal nagging.
What is your plan for when the
there she
80%
goes.
of women who work in the healthcare industry no longer want to do it? What's your
I
plan?
have a plan.
Yeah, what's your plan?
Let's give the jobs to the men. They'll do it better. Because we see what's happening in the media. You know, women fly planes, they crash them. All women almost burned down California.
What?
You know, people are.
You know who's really responsible for burning down California? It's actually the Australians. This is the funniest practical joke that Australia ever played on America, is that we tricked the Californians into investing into eucalyptus trees, which are full of flammable sap and constantly drop leaves and branches. Because fire is a part of the Australian ecosystem. In fact, certain plants, I believe Banksia can't even germinate without there being a brush fire or something, which is very interesting. It like clears it's like actually a very natural part of the life cycle in Australia. But this is the funniest thing that Australians have ever done, and Californians can suffer for it, so deal with it.
Are dying because they want to make women feel better. People literally.
What I'm curious about is whether or not the Pick Me Act ever resorted into anything positive for you.
She's always a pick me, never picked. Oh my goodness, this is fucking brutal.
Are you done?
These like
I'm
war
not.
crimes.
All right. So I'm not either.
Okay, keep going.
Now,
Pearl hates women. It's true, she does, but it's more so that she's envious of women who are successful and are already married. You can just see it in her face.
the other thing is, women fly planes, they crash them. Women aren't CEOs.
What
they
are the
quit.
stats on
most
that?
Female,
What are the
most
stats
female
on that?
You know, it's like feminists. They want stats that say water is wet. The
Yeah,
sky
I
is
want
blue.
empirical evidence
Right,
to
because-
back up your arguments.
Because you know you want to be in control of telling people what to think and how to feel.
No, I want to be in reality. I want to live in a fact-based reality. That requires empirical evidence, not your assertions.
300. We all saw that plane crash on the East Coast. No one's making that up, Anna.
You do better when you're reading off your paper, so I'll give you some time to do that.
So I have this. Hold on a second.
Stop! He's already dead.
Oh, this is not going well for Pearl. Like, you cannot just, you have to just, if she actually had the facts, if she just brought the facts, that would be that simple. These work very well on like podcasts where you're not fact checked, there's no one pushing back. But, oh my goodness. Damn.
In the future, because I'm sure you'll find yourself in more
All
of
right,
these
what if-
debates,
I
I actually think that you could be an incredible debater. But you need to look at the broader picture,
Oh my
not just
God,
rely
the
on
nagging,
anecdotes,
the
and
nagging.
don't make things up out of
Nagging.
full cloth.
okay. Feminism empowered women. I'll take the tip. Thank you.
She used the, like, don't concede the point and start reading off your piece of paper. This is so embarrassing.
Feminism empowered women to sign up for previously male-dominated.
How much to send you a eucalyptus, rainbow eucalyptus sapling? I mean, I don't live in Australia at the moment. I don't know. Are they expensive? Although there was a eucalyptus tree near the Kookaburra exhibit at the zoo, and I was very happy to see it. But you know, like you rub up the leaves and it, like, releases all the eucalyptus oil, and it smells really good. It's very nostalgic. And then I was showing, like, you know, because eucalyptus trees have like this bark that comes off very easily, and I was telling my girlfriend how, like, when we were kids, we would always go around school like ripping the bark off the trees, because there's always like a dozen spiders under every piece of bark. and then you'd rip off the bark, and then they would all run everywhere, and it was like a funny little game we would play as kids. Because there's like these really flat spiders that like live under, like squeeze under bark. It's not the huntsman's, but it's very similar in the way that huntsman's are very flat and can sneak into gaps. I mean, I guess technically this is correct. I did rub the tree's leaves. But you know, you can put like a eucalyptus leaf in your like in your shoe, like between the sock and the shoe, and it like releases out all the essential oils, and then your shoes smell nice too. It's neat. It's neat. Antimicrobial too.
Careers that they quit. 48 to 73% of female lawyers, depending on the type of firm, quit either as junior associates or at mid-career. 1/4 of them cite workload, burnout, mental health. 73%.
Inflammable means flammable. What a fucking country. Oh, the camera just gave up. There we go. The men stopped working on my camera.
Of women who got engineering degrees in the past 15
Women
years
bad.
either have never entered the field professionally or quit early mid-career. 55% of all female accountants quit before or at their mid-level career. The
They're
attrition
mid.
rate for women in STEM is approximately 50%. These companies often bend over backwards to get women hired to the point of discrimination against male qualified candidates. Then women quit because they don't want to work the long hours or deal with the levels of stress for an extended period of time, with women being 2.5 more likely to take antidepressants than men. The money and prestige isn't worth it to them. They prefer lower pay, lower workload, and higher job security. Feminism has empowered women to go to college and take out loans they can't afford for career paths that will not generate them income to pay off those loans.
I mean, this is a true statistic, though, that women do waste a lot of money in education. But this is not like necessarily women's fault. I mean, they are somewhat responsible for it. I mean, you are responsible for your own actions, but the you know who's you people know exactly who I'm talking about. But there's a certain group of people that are advocating these forever university college wastes of time that a lot of young people are losing their entire 20s to, and that's sad. That's unfortunate.
Men have
The top
higher debt than women.
Right, because
They do.
because women put their biggest expenses on their husband's credit card.
According to Experian, and they look and
Women are
account for those
85%.
factors
Women
that
are
you just
85%
mentioned.
of women are
Hold on.
85% of consumer spending. We lead when it comes to luxury brands.
Men have more mortgage debt, car loan debt, personal credit card debt,
Right, because they're
personal loan debt.
expected to provide. Women make 80% of consumer buying decision. Again, if feminists really cared about equality, they would provide for the men.
They would what
Where's-
for the men?
where's-
I mean, she's talking to a woman who literally provided for her broke-ass husband.
Sorry, I
Same
missed
treatment,
that.
fellas.
Sorry, can you
If
repeat that?
feminists cared about equality, they would provide for the men. But yet, that is a small minority of women.
Wait, so let me get this straight. Honestly, your whole shtick is women should bend over backwards and do everything they
I'm-
can for men.
I mean, they can bend over forwards too, I suppose.
My argument,
I'm an
My
egalitarianist.
hold on, my argument is that men and women are both tremendously important to a functioning society. They should both be treated with respect. They both serve different jobs, different roles, and in order
This is incredibly based. What she's saying, men and women are equal but different. This is exactly the right point that people should have. That's why women typically are the stay-at-home, because they are biologically suited to nursing and raising young children in their early years. Like, I don't understand what. Anna is incredibly reasonable right now.
for society to work,
No.
we have to respect that.
Women are
but
not
you
equal-
seem
but women are
to
not-
put the onus and responsibility of everything onto women while providing cover for the bad behavior of men.
Women are not equally important because they don't do the equal
Men
work.
are equally important.
Women
I
are
never
not
said that they
equally-
weren't.
Women are not equally important because they don't do the equal amount of work. Men have invented the majority of the inventions. Men have
Really?
started
Yeah.
Fortune 500 companies. Men do the majority of the
Hold on a second. Chad didn't pick up on my reference. I can't believe you guys missed this. This is an easy one.
Oh crap! It's on fire!
Inflammable means flammable? What a country!
There you go. That's a Dr. Nick Riviera classic. Come on, guys.
infrastructure job. Men produce 90% of
Who's scrubbing the toilets
80%
after
of the
work?
food supply, 90% of the world's stuff.
Who's changing the diapers?
What do I think of the latest Enviro update status of the game? I haven't played much. I know that I had to upload my Steam uploads. I had to update both games. I still need to do a stream with the Echoes of Extensions. They've got the tech demo, but I haven't really played it because I tried to play it the first day and it was really buggy, so I decided to come back later, but I've been too busy. I have a bad feeling that the Echoes of Extension is not going to meet its fundraising goal, though, however. I think they're halfway through the month already and they're only halfway up. They're trying to get $60,000. So maybe we'll do a stream of that sometime this week. I don't know.
Not
Who's-
women.
who's
Not women.
raising
They're
the
not having
children
kids.
after
Women aren't
working
having kids.
all
So
day
women
long.
aren't doing it. Daycare workers now, to be honest. It's not the moms.
Not everyone grew up in an affluent
Well, in
household like
Minnesota.
you. They need a dual income household in order to make ends meet in this economy.
Anna, you
Live
talk.
in reality for
Anna,
one day
you
in your
talk.
life.
Anna, you talk for a living. It's kind
I
of
do.
rich for you to come at me.
What, bitch? What do you do for a living?
I also talk, but I can acknowledge it's not that hard of
Okay.
a job.
Talk a lot of
Where you,
bullshit.
well, you pretend it's more important than it is.
Right. Okay.
I mean, that's kind of a funny gotcha. I'll give her Pearl a little bit something here. I don't think there's any content but what she's saying, but like that is a funny thing to say. Also, you got to be careful with those horse teeth she's showing.
Well, since there
Jesus Christ, she looks like Attack on Titan.
were only about 30 seconds left, we'll just call it there. All right, good job. Give these debaters a round. All right, we have 5-minute closing statements where you will not attack each other.
Oh
call each other
no,
names.
no,
And
boo!
leaders.
Attack each other. It's
I'm
getting
just gonna
good.
go ahead and read what I couldn't get to in my opening statement, if you don't mind. Taking advice from someone like Pearl will ensure that you will be lonely and incredibly sad. If you have
I 100% agree with this. This is my biggest gripe with these people that promote this idea of this crazy lifestyle, is that if you do follow their advice, you will be unhappy. It's like, oh, you just got to just sleep around for 20 years and then settle down with a 17-year-old or some shit, like Nick Fuentes says or so whatever. Like that's just going to lead you to a lonely, terrible existence where you die alone, honestly. Don't listen to these people.
this dark view of an entire sex, nearly 50% of the country, I can't imagine living day to day being a happy person. I don't know what Pearl actually believes. Part of me feels like this is a shtick.
Yeah,
But I'm gonna-
I mean, that's my kind of opinion too. I think she's just doing this for the grift, or for attention in particular. And I mean, it's been quite effective for her so far. Maybe not so much going forward, because a lot of Pearl's rise was thanks to the implementation of the shorts. She got like some crazy high shorts views on certain of her content.
Take what you say at face value and just think you genuinely believe it. And if you do genuinely believe it, I actually feel really bad for you. If you think women in general fit in this weird description where they're looking to take advantage of people, where they're looking to rip people off, where they're looking to get married only to divorce and steal a man's money, you live in an alternate universe. Sometimes
just have
divorces are
eyes.
ugly. Sometimes there are bad women who make things up, who lie about rape, and there should be consequences for that.
But there aren't.
The difference between you and me,
Yes, there are. Now, there is a certain amount of people that get away with it. That does need to be addressed. But like, the idea that women can just get away with everything in life is not really true. And we know that for a fact because some woman just tried to get away with driving over a ICE agent, and she fucked around and found out.
is that I think the bad behavior of women deserves consequences, just like the bad behavior of
funny.
men deserves consequences. That's
But
what
one's
equality
legal,
is.
one's not.
What you're advocating for is a society in which men get away with everything and women get blamed for everything. That's it. I mean, what else am I going to say?
All right, that was her close.
All right. I can go? Yeah.
Might as
All
well.
right.
Jump in there.
Feminists are mainly white, middle-class, female liberals who have no idea how the real world works and yet want to advise you on how to live in it.
I mean, Pearl has no idea how the real world works either. And she is a white feminist, apparently.
Go through your complaints. Feminists want control over their bodies. You win. You have 12 types of birth control, and you can actually Uber Eats a Plan B. You have abortion on demand, and in the states that it's not, it's simply a weekend trip. You have aborted an eighth of the world population. You win. Feminists wanted to fight.
I mean, the people that are actually getting aborted is a certain subgroup of society. That Pearl's probably very upset about that, to be honest.
Against rape culture. You win. If a woman is raped, assaulted, or if she revokes consent after the fact, she has the power to get a man fired from his job, kicked out of school, or thrown in jail. You won, feminists. Women want to be free of traditional gender roles? Fine. Men invented the dishwasher, the Roomba, the air fryer, fast food, and Uber Eats. There are meal prep services and cheap restaurants. You win. Women wanted to have a career first and get married later in life. Men allowed women to come into the workforce and have millions of dollars in funding, pushing women into male-dominated fields and scholarships, and invented IVF to give us another 5 years of fertility. The husbands pay for the IVF, and they were pushing to get it taxpayer funded. You win. Women wanted to be sexually
I mean, like, husbands paying for IVF makes sense, but that's the man's choice for dating a woman that was old enough to need it. And IVF is not only just for elderly pregnancies as well. It's also for people that have pregnancy difficulties. But like, it's kind of a weird point to bring up. Also, Eva Blink, never 40 bucks. That'd be a long fucking time. Thank you very much. I see no problem. I see the problem. There are no sandwiches inside. I would love a sandwich right now. I haven't had a sandwich in a long time.
Liberated instead of getting married. Men invented Tinder and Hinge, so random men can literally come to your door. The men from your hometown are not good enough. Men invented social media, so you can get flown out by the highest status men in the world. Women did not want to work labor jobs. Fine. Men invented social media, so you can talk into a microphone and get paid. You can now work from home, so you can have a family and be a mom. You can make money selling your nudes on the internet and become a billionaire. Women.
Not really. I'm not sure there's any porn star billionaire in the world. I think the only female billionaires are ones that divorced their men and got half the money and shit. Which I guess is towards Pearl's point, but I mean, this is just not the case. The average 99% of people that do OnlyFans get no fucking money and just embarrassed for the rest of their lives.
Did not want to give birth. Fine. Men invented surrogacy, so another woman can do it for you. Women wanted to be thin without working out. Now you have Ozempic. You want to look younger? Fine. Men invented Botox, hair dye, filters on your phone, nose jobs, and a nose, plastic surgery, lash extensions, makeup, and AI to make you look thinner.
You should look into it.
You can now wait till 40 to have a baby, freeze your face, work in an air-conditioned office, earn a living sitting on your ass, getting fat, spending money you don't have, marry someone to pay it off, divorce him, put him on alimony and child support, get a Roomba, abort your kid, have unprotected sex on camera, get paid for it, order any cooked food to your door, get a self-driving car, and then complain to men that they caused you to be lazy and fat. You are now empowered to have 10 abortions, bang 300 men, take a DEI position that pays $300K a year, Uber Eats a Plan B, study underwater basket weaving, and get sympathy.
She's repeating
when your
herself.
degree pays no money.
It's not well written.
Feminists are spoiled, liberal, progressive women that have no idea how good they have it. You guys will never be happy until men are nothing but empty shells who are slaves to the system, fueled by feminists.
I mean, Anna seems like she's pretty happy with her life. Pearl's the one that's seething and coping and sneezing about not having no man to put a ring on it. It seems to be quite the opposite, honestly.
Selfishness, spending habits, and poor choices. Feminists don't care about equality because if they did, there would be equal rights for men. There would be equal men's shelters. There would be equal funding for men's cancer. There would be real equality. I checked 20 different feminist websites and have not found one that mentioned a single issue that asked for men to be equal. It only asked for special treatment. Feminism has empowered women to destroy this country through the death of 1,000 cuts. Feminism is not about equality, it's about insidious domination. It has been a slow creep to where women are complaining about their non-existent oppression. Men have figured this out because they're highly adaptive and the math is not mathing. I am curious to know feminists' plan when men refuse to stop providing, protecting, and maintaining the civilization you enjoy corrupting.
I mean, I can kind of figure out why Pearl's not married at this point. Like, she was talking about Anna nagging and nagging, but I'm just hearing like like the white, like the tinnitus white noise or whatever it is, the ringing. That's what I'm hearing when Pearl's just putting out all this, whatever this is. I'm not sure what she's trying to say.
Feminists are about to fuck around and find out. Feminists have won. You destroyed every single male group that used to be strictly for men, like Boy Scouts. You can falsely accuse men of rape, harassment, and endless lawsuits. Feminists have more political power, voting power, and spending power than any other group. Everybody caters to you. Corporations cater to you because women are the primary purchasers. Politicians because they need the vote. Men have to pay
I mean, she is a woman though, so that's like, she's kind of in her element right now.
Child support to a rapist. Men are not believed when they're abused. Men have to die at work and at war. Men have to pay child support for 18 to 21 years. Men have to register in selective service. Men are not given additional consideration for colleges.
This is just pandering to a male audience, right? Is that what she's trying to do? This is just literally the pick-me speech.
Jobs, opportunities, and scholarships. Children are not DNA tested at birth, leading to paternity fraud, which is not prosecuted at all.
I mean, maybe kids should be DNA tested at birth. Not only just for like, I mean, you could do paternity reasons, I guess, but like DNA testing is now being able to show us things like potential health concerns that you're going to have, which I think that's like probably a good technology to be using. Suffer, man. Look, the only man that's suffering is fucking Pearl's boyfriend. It seems like Anna's husband is playing video games at home while she's like bringing home the bacon. Like, what a... It should have been me. It should have been me.
And men will more than likely deal with this in their lifetime. Men are the majority of the homeless. Men are the majority of the suicides.
No, it results in eugenics. What if I said that eugenics was perhaps a good thing? Now, hold a second. Hold on a second. Like, apparently now we have the ability to prevent anyone from getting Down syndrome. That's eugenics, but that's an absolute W. I think that... And look, people with Down syndrome shouldn't exist in society. This does not mean that we kill the people with Down syndrome. It just means we prevent them from ever even developing in the first place. That's a good thing. I don't see a problem with that. But when you say that, people are like, well, my cousin is Down syndrome and I love him. Yeah, you're allowed to. I'm not saying we should execute him. I'm just saying that, like, we don't need to have any further Down syndrome babies in the future. If you like purebred dogs, you support eugenics. I do. Like, I don't, like, there are certain dog breeds I don't think should exist. Like, any of the dogs with like breathing problems, like pugs or like, you know, what is it? French bulldogs or anything. Yeah, they're very cute, but like they're literally in torture the moment they're born. We shouldn't be breeding these dogs. It doesn't mean that we execute them. It just means that we, you know, selectively breed them out, or like at least mix their genome with more stable traits that allows them to actually live like a proper life. It's like they're adorable, but like they're in agony. It's mean. We shouldn't be doing it. Anyway, got to be careful what I say. Can Downies reproduce? I mean, they have rights, so yes, they can. But you can do genetic, like CRISPR and some shit to like prevent them from having Down syndrome children, right? They're not necessarily always going to have Down syndrome kids, as I understand it, but I don't know. Recently, I think it was actually a Japanese technology that's been developed that prevents the genes that cause Down syndrome from being passed down.
Women can hit men and men can't hit back. Feminism has empowered women to destroy men, and congratulations.
Wasn't Pearl a DEI addition to the male-only manosphere red pill? Yeah, essentially, she's just like us bros.
1.6 million men have committed suicide. What more do you want, Anna?
All right. That is the debate. Let's give it a big hand for these two debaters.
Thank you.
All right, so if you're here in the room, you go, and also if you're watching online, of course, the many tens of thousands of you who are right now, you go to Word War.
Imagine being normal with Downy parents. I mean, what a crazy... I mean, yeah, but there's a lot of people that have worse parents, though. You have to imagine. There's a lot of shit families out there. There's a lot of shit parents. So it's not ideal, but I mean, they're people. They're entitled to a right to life and existence. You want genetically modified children? But we already do that. We already develop vaccines and change things and breed out certain... Like, this is not like something that's new. We do this already to certain degrees. Now, it's just to the extent that we're going to be doing it. Now, there's a lot of ethical arguments with the CRISPR and like we're going to have super babies and like genius babies and things like that. Like, it's going to be a question for the future going forward, especially with China on the foreground, because China doesn't give a shit about any ethics. They're going to be having like all their babies are going to be CRISPRed in the Chinese future. That's going to be a real concern for the people going forward, I think.
Debate.com, and that's where you're going to cast your vote. And let's get these guys to shake hands here. Yep. Great job. Great job.
Wait, let's... Hold on,
Yep.
let's go back.
Great job.
They're so mismatched. It's so funny. There we go. There we go, chat. Did you enjoy that? I enjoyed that. That was a lot of fun. It's a shame. It's a shame that Pearl's tall genetics are going to go to waste and that she's never going to have any children. Oh well. Anyway, holy shit, we went for like 3 hours. I guess the camera gave up like during this. I really enjoyed that. Who do you think won the debate? Do you think 1 for Anna Kasparian or 2 for Pearl? Any Pearl fans in the chat? Any contrarians? They're gonna post a 2. Anna is intelligent. Pearl can read. Are you sure? I mean, did you see the type font on their thing? It's pretty big. It was a good stream. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. I'm still waiting for I got fucking scammed by my delivery. It's not coming. Yeah, it's a blower, absolutely blowing out. It's a total Anna victory. And we're all just like coping and seething. Chat won? That's true. Chat always wins. All right, chat. Have a good one. I gotta go do some shit. I want to go to the gym, but I can't because I'm waiting for my fucking delivery. Peace.
The following tale is true, and by true, I mean false. It's all lies, but they're entertaining lies. And in the end, isn't that the real truth? The answer is no.